Anybody can do this. You just got to be willing to be coachable and be consistent and willing to follow a proven process. So it's going to be really good, but you're going to walk off here tonight or today with a very clear understanding of exactly what it takes for you to make 10K, okay? And then what we're going to do at the very end, if you are a guest on, so that means if you're not already inside the community, if you're a guest on, we would love to you guys yesterday, and I did that in 20 and a half months. All of that, okay? So this was my day yesterday. As you can see, I had a $10,000 day yesterday just in my Stripe. My PayPal was like a $3,600 day. But just in my Stripe, I'm at $126,000 for the month. Because my goal when I discovered this was to make $54,000 a year working 2 hours a day. Never in my wildest dreams did I think anything like this would. I'm only telling you guys that because when you understand these 5 steps and what it can do for you, you will be blown away. So I just followed the 5 steps. I've mastered the 2-hour workday, and I've stayed consistent. Matter of fact, you guys can see my background, right? I'm actually in Hawaii. That's not a green screen. I know it looks like one, but it's literally my backyard right now. And this has been our day. We are in Hawaii. We're here for 2 weeks. We were on a helicopter yesterday. We hung out at the beach, and we just did the things that I've always dreamed of doing as a mom, and still had over a 10K day. And so that's what we're going to learn today, exactly how we are doing that. And look at Michelle here. She had an $1,800 day and just got another one. Wow, life is good. through these 5 steps. Okay. So what I recommend is get rid of your distractions, maybe take some notes on this, because the moment you can wrap your head around these 5 steps, it is going to completely change the way you do business and the way you can, you're going to learn how to leverage your time. Okay. Got it on my clipboard. Love it. Okay. So step 1, promote product or programs that are in high demand. So the world is going digital. You know, we all can agree on that, right? And so let's talk about that. Why promote something digital? So the digital goods economy is already a gigantic 950 billion market. $1 billion market. So the e-learning industry, it did 950 million in 2019. But you guys, today, the first quarter of 2024, it's averaging 1.2 billion a day, and it's projected to be $3 billion a day industry by 2027. There's so much money to be made in this industry. So it just makes sense to promote a product that is growing at such a rapid rate. Okay, so why digital programs? Okay, because there is a difference. First of all, when you can promote a digital program, you guys can make 100% profit. Okay, and I'm going to break down the difference of that for you. So our number 1 selling product is $900. So maybe you've done an affiliate marketer before, or you've done network marketing before. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but in reality, you only make on average about 25%. When you can promote digital programs, you can make 100% profit. Now check this out. So if you make 100% profit and you're promoting a $900 product, you're putting $900 into your pocket. If you're promoting a $900 product, but are an affiliate or network marketer, you're only putting $225 into your pocket. That's a huge difference, right? What if you were passionate about a lip gloss and you were selling a lip gloss and you only made $9 when you sold a lip gloss? First of all, at 25% profit, you would have to get 4 customers to make $900. A lip gloss, you'd have to sell 100 customers to make $900. What makes more sense to you? Put it in the comments. Would you like to get 1 customer to make $900, or 4 customers to get $900, or 100 customers? See, this is why a lot of people can't wrap their head around when they see some of the income that we're making, because they're thinking in small numbers. They're thinking with the $9 lip gloss or 25% as an affiliate or drop shipper or in network marketing, right? And so this is what we love. We love the fact that when you see these numbers, that money is going directly into their bank account. They don't got to share that with the company, okay? And the next part is people are wanting to learn more today. They're wanting to equip them with skills that they need. So promoting digital programs helps people not only learn, but also helps them earn at the exact same time. And they can sell something that helps others. I think everybody on here loves helping people, right? You wouldn't be here if you didn't. And that's what's great about promoting digital programs. So next is where we can get you off that hamster wheel, where you can stop trading time for dollars. So step 2 is you're going to automate your business. So step 1, I'm going to kind of keep this recap for you guys. Step 1, you're going to promote a product in high demand. Step 2, automate your business. So this is the automations, right? It's pages like this that are literally out there in the World Wide Web working for you 24/7. Right, is pages just like this. So what happens is when somebody puts their email in, it takes them to this page and this page. So you guys, you realize what that means. Instead of you having to be the one finding the customer, getting on the phone with a customer, DMing a customer, you have a fully automated business working for you. Let me give you a great example. Amazon. Amazon is fully automated. Amazon literally, look at that, did $574 billion in 2023. So here's my question for you. Put a yes in the comments if you guys have ever shopped at Amazon. Put a yes in the comments if you've ever shopped at Amazon. Okay, look at all the yeses. Yes, 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 right? Yes, every week. That's hilarious. Okay, so here's my next question. Would you still shop at Amazon if you were out of this lip gloss and you needed to buy another one, but you had to get on the phone with Amazon before you could buy? Would you still shop at Amazon if you had to get on the phone with somebody before you could buy? No, look at that. No, exactly. So we can agree the world is going automated. This is how people like buying in today's world. So that's why you need to automate your business, right? You can't argue with a company that does $574 billion in 1 year. People like that they can at any time go shopping and buy, and it just is directly dropped off at their door. So that's the power. This is the new norm in today's world. So it just makes sense that you automate your business as well. Okay. So now what's next? Okay, so we have promote a product in high demand. We have you're going to automate your business. So now that your business is on autopilot, what would be next? Well, you got to get it discovered, right? How do people know about what you have? And this is, you can post free ads, right? There's classified ads out there that you can post, or you can use social media. There's 5 billion people on social media. Imagine if you could just become that magnet and attract them to your automations, not to you. Imagine if you could be a magnet with your automations and attract people to that, so you don't got to DM people or you don't got to bother friends and family. Imagine having a fully automated digital business that attracted customers by finding people through the 5 billion people, right? So what's next? Step 4, okay? The cool part is there's 5 billion people on social media, but also there's 5 billion people on social media. So how do you stand out? How do you stop their scroll? Okay, this is how. You need to know who your perfect customer is. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. Matter of fact, here's my question for you real quick. I need you guys to put in the chat, how did you discover this webinar today? What, did you get an email? Or did you discover it on social media? How did you, or yeah, email, social media, or a friend or family? How? Facebook, TikTok, emails from you. I love it. Email, community email. See the difference? So again, we're talking automations, right? And so what happened is, if you said email, at one time you had discovered this system. So you, my friend, are somebody's perfect customer, and that's why you're here. Is that not cool? Right? None of us had to get on the phone with you, right? It's through automations, because we know who our perfect customers are. And so we show you how to use stop the scroll hooks. Now, what does that mean? It's what would stop the scroll of our perfect customers. What do we know they have problems with, and how we can solve the problems? This is what we teach you guys inside our community, right? And we do what's called a CTA. A CTA is a call to action. Give them the next step. Now, we all know, and we're all familiar with the CTA. You know who's the master at a CTA? YouTube. Think about it. You watch a YouTube video, and as soon as the YouTube video is over, they're recommending another video. That's a CTA. They're giving you a call to action of what to do next. Imagine if you could master that in your business. I mean, and then that's what attracts customers to you, right? That is what is so important. Okay, so let's just recap real quick here. So we're going to recap with number 1, you're going to promote products and make 100% profit. You're going to automate your business so it's out there working for you 24/7. I call it your freedom machine, because it's just freely working for you. And number 3, you're going to get your business discovered so you don't got to go find customers. And 4, you're going to stand out by creating content which is relatable to customers, and it sends them back to your automations. So what's the final step? Getting a new customer. Is that not the craziest process ever? And I get it. People are like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. I wish I could make it harder than this. It's all about just the consistency and the understanding who your perfect customer is and creating the content towards them. So how do you make 10K with these 5 steps, right? Let's talk about that. So again, our number 1 selling product, you guys, is $900. So 12 customers times 900 is 10,800. All you need is 12 customers. Just on social media alone, there's 5 billion people. And all you need is 12 a month to discover you, for you to make 10,000 a month. You guys just seen I had a $10,000 day yesterday. I think I can help you make $10,000 a month if I can do that in one day, right? We can all agree on that. But this is how it's going to work for you. I would screenshot this page, because what we're going to do is, on average, you need to get 10 people a day to put their email in. Because what happens the moment they put their email in, they're immediately taken to here. Okay, in between this page and this page, after watching the video, 1 out of 20 are buying. So if 1 out of 20 are buying, you guys, that is $900 every other day. That's $10,000 in 30 days. So we work on getting 10 people a day there. Okay, so you might be thinking right now, oh man, Michelle, this sounds really good, but I know nothing about promoting products. I know nothing about sales funnels. I know nothing about social media. I know nothing about stopping the scroll content. How do I attract 10 people a day to my automated system without talking to people? See, here's the part why people struggle with making money online, what I'm getting ready to share with you. They get sold on selling something, but they don't realize the most important thing you can do, my friend, is understand the marketing side so you can actually sell what you're going to be selling. If you go look at every business that goes out of business, it's usually one of two reasons. One, they had really bad management, or two, they didn't know how to market. You know how many really great coaches are out there, how many great products and services are out there, but they don't know how to market. Because that's the difference of you getting 10 customers or getting 20 customers, right? Or getting 12 customers. It's just the marketing. That's all it is, right? So that's why I'm introducing you to the Legacy Builder program. Inside this program, first thing, you immediately get 4 income streams. How cool is that? Immediately you get 4 income streams. And these 4 income streams, you're going to be able to make 100% profit off of these 4 income streams. Okay, then once you're inside the Legacy Builder program, you're going to learn how to market in today's digital world. Okay, this is your Legacy Builder program. You start right there and you literally go through the steps. It's like paint by numbers. You paint all the 4s orange, all the 7s green, all the 3s red, and it's going to come out right. Inside of it, you get the ultimate discovery system. You're going to learn how to build a 7-figure brand, and that even includes faceless branding as well. You're going to learn the copy and paste free ads method. You're going to learn attraction marketing with social media. Again, there's 5 billion people on social media alone. See, we have your build an invisible empire is what I like to call it. Not only do you get a complete step-by-step 72-page PDF, inside of this build an invisible empire, it actually shows you complete templates of content to create for an entire year. Plus it gives you a blueprint to make 100K your first year building an invisible empire. Okay, because I know some people can't talk on video or don't want to. So this is included. Not only do you get that, you also get the complete training and even a Q&A I did walking people through that. Now you also get to be part of our amazing community. Look at this, we have 19,000 people inside our community. And you guys, a year ago on May 22nd, we were celebrating having 1,000 people inside our community. Why do I share that with you? Because in 1 year, we grew by 18,000 because the process works. The people are in this community because of following these 5 steps that I'm covering with you, right? But I gotta share something with you, because do you see this right here, this 90-day legacy run? We are on a run right now to show you how to make 30K over the next 90 days. Just giving you the complete techniques and skill set that you need, and hopefully equip you with the winning mindset to achieve it. And so every day you wake up with a video from me, or you have a video from me every day. And it's anywhere from, on average, about 8 minutes is the average video. And it gives you an action step. This isn't a course. There's nothing wrong with courses, but this isn't a course, because nobody completes a course because you lose that excitement after a while. And so we make sure to keep this interactive and helping you through the process and through the journey. And if you can't attend any of the calls live, that's 100% okay. You get access to all of the replays. Now, here's just a few people that are going through our program. Like, look, they were able to discover their perfect customer They said this was worth more than $1 million. They said here, they were discovered their perfect customer. Look, the breakout rooms were great. The second breakout room, she had to get off. It was absolutely incredible. I love the breakout rooms because I send you in breakout rooms so you can have a breakthrough, so we can find what's holding you back from being able to reach your goals and dreams. So here's my question for you, and I want you to put it in the chat. Do you think you could make money promoting a program that delivered these types of results? Do you guys think you could make money that? So that, yes, yes, yes. I have a lot of smart people on here today. I love that. Right? So you ready for this? Screenshot this page, guys, because in just 53 days, our community has generated a staggering $5.7 million in revenue through the Legacy Builder program. And that is 100% profit into their pockets. That's not into a company's pocket. That is into their pockets. 5.7 million in 53 days. You guys, that is proof right there that the program works. So you have complete confidence that you know that you get to be promoting and selling a product that actually works. But let me give you an example. You see this iPhone I'm holding right now? Why do you think Verizon didn't want to take the time to create their own product? Oh, because they wanted to sell a winning product. Because they know all they got to do is know how to market this, and it's going to sell. That's what you have here. We just got to teach you the marketing strategies to attract people to your business so they buy from you, my friend. So I want Jessica to come and share. You guys, she literally just hit 6 figures in 6.5 months. She is such an adorable human being. Like, you guys are literally going to fall in love with her. I want you to just, she's probably one of the realest people I've ever been around in my entire life. And it's really great because she didn't buy from me, by the way. I'm telling you guys, this is what I love about this. It's just the likes attract. Let's just put it that way. So Jessica, oh my gosh, I got to make her co-host. Hold on. Let me find her real quick here. I can't wait for you guys to share her story. Okay, you should be able to unmute, Jessica.
I don't care what you do. Leave me alone. No, don't hate me.
Jessica?
Here you go. Can you
There you are. Yes.
Thank you so much for such a sweet introduction. I appreciate that so much. Can you hear me okay? I'm at a greenhouse today and my service is like...
No, you're good.
Okay, good. So I have been doing this for 6.5 months and I just hit 100K in 6.5 months. Hey! And some of you know my story and follow me, but I say it all the time. I wasn't and am not. Like, I had no following, no experience. I'm not fancy. Like, I had a desire and I kept seeing people with digital marketing. I didn't think it was real. I've been in MLMs most of my life, make $5 off a product. And I've had the same job for 17 years. My annual salary is $33,000 a year. And I just hit 100K in 6.5 months. And like, I've already made $900 today. I'm at a greenhouse. I was in the hospital yesterday. Like, my health is not great. Like, you really, really can do this anywhere. I plugged into Michelle's video. So I did not purchase from her. The lady that I did purchase from didn't mentor me, but Michelle's videos mentored me every day. She had a 10K and 60-day run from November to December. I plugged into those videos every day. I just did what she said. And I made 10K my first 2 months. So you don't have to have a mentor or somebody like, hey, go do this. You don't have to do that. Like, it literally just pours into you. Michelle's so selfless. I love your training, Michelle. I love how much you care about us. And I know you said to make short, so I'll try to hurry, but people in 6.5 months come to me with no tech experience, no idea what to do. And I tell them I was the same way. Like, you don't have to fit that stereotype. I just plugged into videos in the training and I took advantage of what you give us at our fingertips. I can do this from my double wide trailer in West Virginia with Crohn's disease and a full-time job and homeschool and super active in our youth ministry. Anybody can do this. Definitely.
Oh, did we lose you, Jessica? Oh, I
I
think
don't
we
know, maybe.
Thank you so much for sharing, Jessica. And I hope you're feeling better, my friend. And congratulations. I love how real you are, and you just stay true to your authentic self. And I just love that so much. So thank you so much for sharing. So good. Oh my goodness, you guys, that is so good. Okay, so what I want to do real quick is, because I know she had something going on, I want Victoria to come and share real quick here, you guys, before we keep on going.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm so pumped up. You guys know I always get really fired up to share with you guys my story because I am super busy. My mother-in-law's here. We're about to drive down and go look at a new house that we're building that we are this close to being able to pay cash for, and it is because of digital marketing. So like I said, I'm Victoria. I'm a busy boy mama. My husband is active duty Army. We have 3 little boys. 2 of them are special needs, and our life is just constantly on the go. And prior to digital marketing, I was a major freaking skeptic about online businesses, and it was because I had done an MLM. Now, I've seen people dropping in the comments like, is this an MLM? Y'all, it is wildly different, okay? Wildly different. You can't make 100% profit with an MLM. There's no upline. There's no company here. There's nobody making a dime off of you. This is 100% you and yours, okay? There's no recruiting, team building, none of that. Drop in the comments, though, if you have ever done an MLM. And tell me how it made you feel. Now, I'm not one to hate on it because it's a brilliant business model, but for me, I wasn't getting what I wanted out of it. And what I really wanted was that time freedom. I wanted that financial freedom to be a stay-at-home mama and be with my kids and be able to work a little bit and put my phone down. But what I found doing that was I was glued to my phone, right? Doing the recruiting, the parties, the cold messages, the follow-up, all of those things, to make $7 on a dang mascara. So I did the math on this, y'all, and in order to make $900 doing that, I had to sell 128 mascaras, okay? Wildly different versus what Michelle was saying to get one customer. It's so different. And so what happened for me was I was still desperately looking for a way to work from home. And so I left MLM and I said, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to start my own online boutique because then I'll be able to make 100% of the profit. It's going to be mine. Tell me in the comments who has ever owned a business, because if so, you know the initial investment that goes into that. You know what it's like to hold inventory. And so I went 30 grand into debt to start my own online boutique. And I still have inventory that I cannot even sell. I'm at the point now where I'm just giving it away because I can now, right? But I did that. And what happened for me when I found digital marketing, I was watching this girl. This is the point, you guys. I was watching this girl make 40 grand in 2 months. I had no idea who she was, but I was her perfect customer because she just kept showing up in my feed. And so I was watching her make 40 grand in 2 months, and I sat there and I said, yeah, right. It's got to be another scam. It's got to be some, it's not adding up to me, right? And the reason is because we are taught that to make more, what does society say? Go to college, go get a good degree, and then go and get a good 9 to 5, right? And so then you are able to make a good salary. But guess what? If you can't afford to live in our economy, go get another job. How many of you see ads on TikTok for all of these second jobs, right? Like Uber Eats and DoorDash and all of these other ways to make an income? It's because we're told that you need to work more to make more, okay? And so I just was not a believer, but it got to a point in our situation where we were living paycheck to paycheck, and I desperately needed to find something that was going to help contribute to our household income, because I had lost income because my boutique wasn't bringing anything in for 6 weeks. And so when I went into this, I'm telling you, this was a Hail Mary. And I said, you know what? If I can make $1,200 a month, I'm going to be good. Now, a lot like Jessica, I've never made an income like that, right? Prior to this, the most I had ever made in a year was about 26, 28 grand. Okay. And I've done every job under the sun. So when I tell you, in my first month, I made $29,000 working less than I have ever worked in my life. Like, I could not fathom it. And I know that those are big numbers to hear, you guys, but I want you to understand that it is real and it is happening for so many people. And so fast forward 5 months and 8 days, I made my first 6 figures. Okay. 5 months. And now I'm 10 months in, and I hit 300 grand around the 9-month mark. I actually went from 200 to 300 in that 9-month mark. So I made 100 grand just in a month. And so now I'm somewhere over 320 grand. This month alone, I've already made 72 grand. And it's absolutely mind-boggling, because I'm not somebody that has ever seen an income like that, and I'm working less than I've ever worked in my entire freaking life. So I always just want to be the hype girl that's going to sit here and tell you, if you are skeptical, if you are doubting, and if you are someone that is saying, man, it sounds too good to be true, I'm telling you, that was me. And I have learned some things are just good and true at the same dang time. So if you have been watching somebody, and if you have been sleeping on this, wake up, because it is happening for so many people, and it can happen for you too. So, yeah.
I love that. And congratulations on your house. That is so life-changing, right?
Get to be somewhere like really similar to you next week. We just booked a penthouse suite, oceanfront. So I'm like, popped up.
Yes, I love that. So good. Yes. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. You will be a millionaire this year. Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, let's keep on rocking and rolling here. I want to, because a lot of you are like, well, how long is this going to take? What do I have to do? Right. So that's what we're going to break down with you right now. How much time this will take to get momentum going like this. So we start with a 2-hour workday where you can get all your income earning activities done in 2 hours a day. So what we do is spend 30 minutes a day copy and pasting free ads to high traffic websites for free. You guys, I'm an introvert, so this was an introvert's dream come true. I could copy, paste, and post for 30 minutes a day. And then 3 pieces of content, spent about 1 hour a day creating 3 pieces of content. You get to pick the platform. I chose TikTok, right? You get to pick whichever platform you want to use. And then you're going to spend about 30 minutes between learning and responding to comments and responding to emails. Now, when I mean responding to comments, I mean it's like people do a CTA, which is a call to action, and they put in the comments that they're ready to learn more. And all you respond with is your domain to your automated system. And you let the automated system do the work. So you're not having conversations back and forth in comments. You're driving traffic back to your automated system so they can learn and get all their questions answered. And sometimes they go through your automations and have a few questions. It's not a lot because the automations truly cover all the questions, but that's it, right? That's it. Oops. So what I want to do now is I want to pass it over to Amy, because you guys, Amy discovered this and she was actually working 2 jobs. And she actually has to get off of here pretty soon, because I'll let her share with you why and what she's doing. But you guys, I got to say something about Amy before I have her talk. She has never done anything like this. She has never done an MLM. She's never done affiliate marketing. She's never done drop shipping or digital marketing or anything like that. I think she actually had her daughter set up her TikTok account, right? And so I'm telling you, you don't need any prior experience in any industry. What you do need is the the ability to be consistent and just want to show up. So Amy, I'm gonna let you take it away and share with
right.
them what you're doing. And this is the first time it's happened.
Yeah, exactly. Hi guys, welcome everybody, TGIF. Hey, so I am so glad you took the first step to finding out more information about this and hanging out with us today. Yes, I was divorced. I was a single mom of 3 kids, no financial or physical help, and I found myself, I had a full-time salary job that paid pretty good, but again, raising 3 kids on my own, I had to find a second job, waitressing, of all things. You know, I was in the trucking industry for over 20 years and then waitress nights, weekends, and holidays. I quickly realized I needed to find something different. I didn't know what that was, but I needed to stop working so much because I was losing my relationship with my kids. I was always putting those jobs before them because I thought that's what I had to do. And yes, my daughter put me on TikTok so I could watch her videos. And that's how I came across this. You guys, I was not on social media. I had no clue what digital marketing was. None of it. I didn't even know how to begin to have an online business, and I couldn't do any of that. I'm not tech savvy, none of it, right? So long story short, I came across Michelle. Her and I kind of walked the same path, divorced, raising kids, struggling year after year, and we just wanted something better for our lives. And I will tell you, I took the last dollar to my name and I bought into this program because I wanted something better. I wanted my time back and I wanted financial freedom because I was tired of struggling. I just couldn't do it anymore. Really long story short, 12 weeks into this, I not only quit my part-time waitressing job, but I quit my full-time salary position of over 20 years. I was learning and earning so much that I could see this was going to be long-term. And I went all in. I became a stay-at-home mom for the first time ever. I got my time back. And I started seeing I was getting financial freedom. As soon as that money was coming in, I was paying off my debt. I was paying this off, paying that off, doing all the things so I could set myself up financially. First time I ever had thousands of dollars in a savings account. I'd never seen that. And again, it's not all about the money. For me, it was more about the freedom, the time freedom with my kids and making up for all that lost time where I was putting those jobs before them. 6 months in, I realized this is it. I had made over 65 grand. At 9 months in, I hit 100 grand. And right now, as I said, I'm well over 200 grand earned. I'm averaging 20 to 30 grand every single month, all because of what I've learned. But it's the time freedom that it has given me. I have no debt. I'm booking vacations. I've got 3 vacations already booked, paid for, ready to go. This is my first Memorial Day ever as a mom for 31 years that I will be spending with all 3 of my kids. These are the things, and this is the reason why so many of us do this. It broke my heart when I was working so much, but I knew I had to provide a home for those kids. And I was exchanging time for dollars, you know? I was exchanging my kids for those jobs because I thought that was the only way to do it. So what I'm saying to you is this is doable. It doesn't matter what your educational level is. It does not matter how old you are, how young you are. You can fit this in. If I can do it working 18 hours a day, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, You can fit this in 30 minutes here, 40 minutes here, on your lunch break, in between jobs, whatever you can do. You're already on social media anyway. Why not be earning from it instead of just scrolling senselessly? And I realized that. I plugged into this community. I followed the process. I became committed and consistent. I was coachable. I listened and I learned, not knowing anything about any of it. And now, a year in, it's just, I'm growing leaps and bounds. I'm doing Zooms inside of the community on social media, of all things, you know? But that's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how social media works. You're going to learn how to market for done-for-you digital products, making 100% profit. You're going to learn how to have your own business, and all you need is your phone and Wi-Fi. Get your freedom back. Get it back. That's what this is about. Freedom. And happy Memorial Day.
I'm so excited for you. Love it. Have fun. So
Thank you.
deserving. So deserving. I love it.
Thank you.
I felt that.
Oh, I cry every time.
Yeah, felt that. So good. All right, guys. So I know many people are like, okay, so how do I get started? How do I do this? So let's talk about that. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the Legacy Builder program and what happens the moment you get started. So the Legacy Builder program, when you purchase it, you immediately get 4 income streams. You literally get the resale rights on all 4 of these products. So you get the resale rights on the $100 Launchpad, the Passive Daily Pay Blueprint, the Digital Mastery, and the Legacy Builder. This sells for $100, this sells for $300, this sells for $600, this sells for $900. You get the resale rights on those products. But also inside the Legacy Builder, you're going to learn how to go from launch to profit in 7 days with a digital online business. You're going to learn how to automate your own online business so you can have your freedom as well. You're going to learn how to make passive daily pay. You're going to learn how to build a reoccurring income stream through your email list. And you're going to learn how to create your own community product and program. And you're going to learn how to build a legacy and make 6 and 7 figures online. You're going to learn all of that. Plus, when you get started today, you're also going to get access to these additional bonuses. So if you want to build that faceless brand, you're going to get access to a Canva crash course training that helps you be able to create that content using Canva. You're also going to get access to the 30-day market strategy growth plan. You guys, this is exactly what I followed to go from no following, no email list, and what grew my following, grew my email list, and grew my income. This complete 30-day growth strategy plan. And then you're going to get how to start your own business with master resale rights. There's tons of different products that you can do that with. And you're going to get 200 digital product ideas. So maybe you want to create your own business. You want to launch your own business and you need to figure out what kind of product or program or service you're going to promote. We give you 200 ideas as well. You're going to get how to get the right mindset, message, and marketing to your first million. Actually, this coming Tuesday, the training in my Legacy Builder program is to show you how to craft a message to build a 7-figure brand. You're going to get that training live and interactive with me this Tuesday. And then you're also going to get the Your Invisible Empire Faceless Marketing training as well. And you get all of that, you guys, for only $900. And that includes 4 income streams. So you're going to get $1,900 worth of products for only $900, and you rights on them. If you sold 1 a day, that is literally $1,900 a day. So now, if that isn't in your budget or not your goals and dreams, we also have the Digital Mastery that is $600, and with that you get 3 income streams. And then we have the Passive Daily Pay Blueprint. With that, you get 2 income streams, and then we have the Launchpad. With that, you get 1 income stream. You get the one that is literally best for your goals and dreams, okay? So what I want to do real quick before we open up for questions is I want to see if, Shara is on here. You guys, she literally just hit 6 figures in 7 months. Shara, can you unmute and share your story with us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hi everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm Shara from Canada. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. My story is a little bit different than the other girls. I started actually a year and 4 months. Started doing the digital. However, when I started, it was because I was actually trying to scale my other business. So I have a restaurant and I had this health and wellness business. And so I used this to scale those, to basically learn to scale those online a little bit more, bring in customers, and just kind of learn. So my first, from January of last year until about November, I strictly used the program for that, and I didn't really dive into the program. And it wasn't until November, and it was right before Christmas. And I remembered seeing on my my Facebook, so many people were really upset that they didn't have the income that they wanted going into Christmas. And there's a lot of people complaining about like the prices of everything, which we all know. And I just remember sitting there being like, I have something that literally can help so many people. And if I'm sitting here and seeing this many people struggling, I need to be sharing it. So I decided in November to dive in. I completely dived in. I went full time on this. And ever since then, I set my system up on automation. We actually just bought our second restaurant last week because of this. So it's a huge milestone. It's changed our lives, not only financially, but as of yesterday, I hit $100,000 in 7 months since setting everything up in November. So that was kind of an eye opener for me, because I've been consistently having over $10,000 months, and just seeing what it's done for us already. In January, we were able to take our whole entire family and go to Jamaica and get married. And then in April, we took our whole entire family and we went to Mexico. And in 2 weeks, we're going to Hawaii. So it's again, not even about the money. It's just the fact that I was able to take my entire family 5 months into the year on free vacations. Those were memories that we needed to make together, and that's what simplified this for me. And I was like, you know what, so many people deserve this. Like, money aside, so many people deserve to feel this, freedom that we have, and just being able to go. And while I was on vacation, my wedding, I wasn't on my phone, and then the Mexico trip was basically a break from my wedding because it was so hectic. So we went and we just wanted to relax. And so I put down my phone, and I was shocked because in the month of April, from the 1st to the 15th, we were gone. I was not on my phone. And that month I still made $18,000. And I was like, oh my gosh, why did I never automate? But now I have, and it's been again, so much more than the money, but the money has just been life-changing. And if you've ever been struggling, or just thinking about it, or I had my suspicions as well. I was skeptical, even though I've been in the network marketing industry for 5 years. I was pretty stuck in my ways. So when I started seeing the digital marketing, I'm like, oh no, like, I'm online, I'm good. And this is so much different. Like, I got really, really, really burnt out in my MLM business, which I still love and I still use the product, but I was just really, really burnt out. Like, I was doing so much, and my kids are 4 and 5. That's why I started online, because I had them so close together and I really needed to stay home with them. And I was finding that I was actually taking so much time building a team, trying to convince people to buy this amazing skincare, talking 24/7, doing Zooms. Like, it was so much. I was so much into my phone that I was actually missing out on all that time. And the whole reason I was needing to stay home. So I worked in 2 hours a day, and I get it all the time. And people are like, 2 hours a day? As if you only work 2 hours a day. No, I do. Some days I don't work at all, even though I do. I try to make it for sure, like, my 2 hours. But there's, like I said, when I was on holiday, I didn't work, and I still, because the work that you've done with your automation, they work. So it is something that honestly everybody deserves to feel. And if you're brand new to online, then all I can say is go for it. Get out of your own head, because yeah, it's changed so much of my friends and family's lives. It's something that I've become so passionate about and so excited to share with absolutely everybody, because just seeing, like, why would I keep it to myself? Like, this is something that everybody. So if you've been thinking about it, definitely get back to the person, because you won't regret it.
Yes, thank you. And congratulations. And I love that. Traveling with our family is definitely the best, right? We'll never forget those memories. And like you said, it's not about the money. Money's the byproduct for what we get.
Yeah.
But it's about the freedom that we get.
Yeah.
And I love it. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank
what
you
I
so
want
much
to
for having
do
me.
with you guys, is I want to take you to South Africa and have Cecilia share with you guys. Today, she's celebrating her 1-year anniversary inside our community. So Cecilia, are you with us, my friend?
I am here all the way from South Africa, and today has been, when you get that epiphanies and you get that flashbacks, and I just get goosebumps this whole day, thinking back to last year, the 24th of May, because, and I'm teary today, I'm really, really teary. So in 2 days before, or the day before I started with this, I actually had one of those rough mum days, and I've always been looking for ways to make an income from home, because I'm an angel mum. I've got 2 little boys up in heaven, and then after surviving cancer and then having my little girl, I've always just desperately wanted to spend my time with her. So I've had my own daycare center for 10 years. And then when she got too big to enjoy that time with me there, and I had to sacrifice time with her again, not being able to show up at school and things like that, I decided to open up a salon. So I started learning the skills to do nails and all those things. So the day before I started, the 23rd of May, 2023, it was one of those days where...
Uh-oh, did we lose her? Uh-oh, I think we lost her, didn't we? Amy, did we lose her?
Yeah, I don't see her. She's not trying to get back in.
Okay, we'll let her back in.
Okay.
I haven't asked him this, but Tim, are you able to share for a brief moment till Cecilia can get back, and then after that we'll open up for questions, you guys? Oh, is Tim not here?
I thought I seen him.
Okay. I thought I saw him. Oh, there's Cecilia. She's back. Oh, let me.
There we go.
Okay. Okay. Yes, we have men doing it. I was trying to see if Tim could share.
There you
Cecilia,
go.
are you back with us, my friend?
I'm back all the way from South Africa. Oh, you gotta love it, yeah. So let me get back on track. So that day just started out really, really. I had a wedding crew that came in. So it was a rush to drop my daughter off at school, and then, serving clients the whole day, and then a rush to go pick her up. But when I picked her up, I could see, she had a bad day, but I was in a hurry. I had clients waiting for me, and I literally immediately snapped, and it's like, Nani, you need to hurry, because these are, the clients are waiting. And immediately the mum guilt, literally I drowned in it. I drowned in the mum guilt, because I could see, my baby had a hard day, and I just didn't have time to stop. And it wasn't for me. I mean, it was time to buy winter clothes and all those things. So this money was really important that I was making that day. But I also missed lunch with my daughter. I missed dinner with her, because I worked right up until 9 o'clock that night. And the way that my nail station was set up, if I looked up, I looked right into my house, and I could see she fell asleep on the couch. And my heart broke into a million pieces, knowing that, she was waiting there for me. She needed my time, and I just couldn't give it to her that day. And I knew at that moment things needed to change. So then the 24th of May, that morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I was being a TikTok consumer. I jumped on TikTok just to get my, to look at some funny puppies or something just to get my mood lifted up. And I came across this amazing mum online talking about how she just wanted to get her time back. So at that stage, I was still drowning in that mum guilt from the day before. And when she spoke about how she got her time back with a 2-hour workflow, I was like, this is it. This is it. I really need to get on it. And today is 1 year later. And I want to give you just a little glimpse of, you know, what it's like in South Africa when you earn in dollars, my friend. So within 6.5 months, I hit my first $6 figures. And that immediately put me into millionaire status right here in South Africa. And from there to now, in the past year, it's 2.4 million rand later. As a single mom, I have literally, within 3 months of starting this, I was completely out of debt, where I was drowning in debt before I started. I could replace a prayer car. I mean, I needed to pray that thing all the way to school and back. When I got my daughter, I could replace that prayer car with a safe dream car that I could buy cash. I didn't need to ask the dealer or the bank or anybody to help me. I bought it cash. And by month 5, I flipped my zip code. So I moved from one province right up to Jeffreys Bay, living my life, putting my daughter in a private school where she's way happier now. And then 2 days after Christmas last year, I paid her school fees in full. So I just want to, you know, I've never done this before. I had no clue. The difference between Alt and Enter was foreign to me, so I wasn't techie at all. I literally plugged in and I followed it step by step by step. So if you're sitting on the other side and you're still wondering, does this work in South Africa? Hey, 2 thumbs up. It does. It works. And earning dollars right here in South Africa is the most amazing thing that you can do for yourself. Working 2 hours a day as a mum was the best thing I could ever do for me and my daughter, ever. It is completely life-changing. And the one thing that I love most, I mean, we all know, you start a business or you go work for somebody, and within a few weeks or a few months, you get up dreading the day, knowing that whatever you are making your hours doesn't justify your income, and you get that dragging, nagging feeling of enough is enough. It's 1 year later, and I still wake up excited for that daily action steps that I'm getting inside this community. I'm still like, I can't wait to see what I'm getting today that's going to help me again to hit that $10,000 goal for this month. My friend, it's 1 year later, and I'm still excited about this. So just to give you an idea of how amazing this is, it just doesn't get old. Thank you so much for having me.
Aw, thank you for sharing. And happy 1 year anniversary. I love that so much. So good.
Thank you.
All right, real quick, you guys, we're getting ready to open up for questions. I just want to see if is Daryl here? I don't think Daryl's here either, is he? Do you see him, Amy? Well, I was going to have Daryl or Tim share. I don't see Daryl either, or Tim. Okay, well, we're going to have one of the guys share. Both of them have hit 6 figures, by the way, guys, because I know I heard a lot of guys saying that they wanted to hear a guy. Oh, yes, Matthew, you'll share? Okay.
How about Jimmy? Is Jimmy on too? I mean, like any of the guys on here?
Yeah, Matthew, I'm going to unmute you if you would love to share. Okay, there you go, Matthew. You should be able to. I would love to hear your story. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks for inviting me on, Michelle. Really appreciate it.
Yes.
Most people don't know my story. I'm Matt Jamison. I'm here in Salmon River, New Brunswick, Canada, in the middle of nowhere on 50 acres. Sold a house in the city and moved out here. So everybody was talking about MLM and network marketing, and I love the business model, but it can be a rat race in the treadmill and selling products, for 25% or sometimes 10 or 15 or whatever. I've been doing that for 30 years. I just turned 50 years old. I've been pretty successful in it, but it has gone up. It has gone down. My friend Jason Cardamone was on a live on Facebook one day. And it's funny, I got him started in internet marketing in 2005. I've been doing internet marketing for 24 years. That's how I built my business using a similar freedom machine that Michelle has here, guys. This system works. It's automations. It's truly amazing. I saw these digital marketing products out there. didn't quite understand it. As a network marketing guy for 30 years, it was hard for me to comprehend how somebody was earning 100% commissions. And so Jason and I caught his live by accident, folks. We ended up jumping on the phone, talking for about 3 hours on the phone, just catching up, because it's been 10 or 15 years since we chatted. And I said, oh my goodness. And Michelle, if you remember, I jumped onto one of your webinars. I was in my car and I asked a question. You thought I was in the community, then you brought me back on anyway. I don't know if you remember that. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I told my wife, I said, you're going to kill me, but I need to spend $1,250 Canadian because I need to do this program, because I believe it can help us. And I believe it can help so many people. And for what I'm seeing, I just need to do it. She's like, well, if you think this program is amazing, I trust you, and let's go. So I get started right around April 1st, folks. Actually, I think it was March 30th or whatever. And I started sharing. I started plugging into the trainings inside of this, inside of the Legacy Builders program. We've got 4 different products, folks. We've got obviously 4 different products, the 100, the 300, the 6, and the 9. But you can't sell what you don't buy. And I said, well, I want to maximize. If I'm going to be doing the marketing anyway and putting my time and effort into doing the marketing anyway, then I'm going to start at the $900 Legacy Builder program. Again, $1,250 Canadian. But I also realized that with just one sale, I would have my money back paid directly to my Stripe or PayPal account. And that's exactly what I did. And folks, here we are 54 days later. Last night, I crested $40,000 US in income. That's $55,000 Canadian with our exchange rate, folks. So for the Canadians on the line, you got to understand, we're getting paid. You set your Stripe and your PayPal to collect U.S. funds, and you get 1.37%. That's insane. So I'm at $55,000 Canadian, 40,000 U.S. But I've been internet marketing for 24 years. Folks, I'm learning stuff. Michelle is teaching me so much. I thought TikTok was a joke and a waste of my time until just about 8 weeks ago. And I'll tell you what, I'm on TikTok. We're up to 2,400 and something followers. And I'm getting sales from TikTok. I've connected with people from TikTok. And if you just will follow the step-by-step blueprint, folks, and you'll get into the training and not skip around, and if you'll follow the setup process for the Freedom Machine and not skip around, you will not have any trouble. It's the people that skip around. And anyway, if you follow the process. Now, I want to talk about content. Michelle made $219,000 last month, folks. But you got to understand something. She's been putting content consistently every single day. She's never stopped putting content out there on the internet. Let me ask you a question. If you put a video on YouTube, does that disappear? No. If you put a video on TikTok, does it disappear? No. If you put a Facebook reel up, does it disappear? Not really, as people continue to comment. And so interactions and algorithms are key. And Michelle is a master. I've learned so much from you, Michelle, on algorithms, how to train the algorithms, how to bring in the perfect eyeballs on your offers. And so it starts to compound. And that's how Michelle earned $219,000 last month, folks. It's because of compounding content. Period. End of story. And so, folks, I can tell you this. I've got so many people that I've introduced the program to that have purchased, that are having massive success. We got Freddie Malero, $18,000. I think it's more than that. I think I saw a sale today. Dale Peak, $6,000. Anyway, I can talk forever. I'm so excited. But I'm going to hit 6 figures in the next 60 days for you, Michelle. For me, for everybody, for you. And my goal is I want to be $1 million earner in your community within 1 year. I know you did it in 17 months. I believe with the momentum, with the things we got going on, my goal is to do it in a year. And I know that I've got some of the people I've introduced that want to do it. So we're just continue bringing success stories. And thank you for bringing the content and folks, it's not just the 120 something video training modules, but she already talked about inside of the school community, which, by the way, is the most amazing community platform I've ever seen. The extras, Amy's training, Victoria's training, the LinkedIn training, the daily videos. Folks, plug in. It can be overwhelming, but plug in and do what you can to stay consistent, and you will make money here and you will be consistent. But most importantly, folks, you're offering the most comprehensive internet marketing training I've seen in 24 years that can help you market this program if you don't have a product or service, or it can take your traditional brick and mortar business or your network marketing company to heights you've never seen before, because network marketing should be called network friends and family. It's called network marketing, but nobody teaches marketing. But anyway, it can help you recruit more people, sell more product, and build more income. Back to you, Michelle. I appreciate you for inviting me on. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing. That was awesome. I was like private messaging here in the community going, hey, could you share? And then I noticed he's seen it. So thank you so much for sharing. That was great. I love the fact that you had experienced before, and so you know what you get inside this community, and so that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I can definitely see you hitting a million before your 12 months. Absolutely, I love it. Okay, Amy, you ready to open up for questions? Okay, you guys, if you have a question, we need you to turn your videos on because I like to look at you in the eyes and answer your questions. So looks like we got 2 hands up. So if you have a question, you need to show your video. Now, if you are already inside the community, you need to go back into the community and get your question answered in there. We want to respect the guests that are on because we don't have a lot of time today to answer questions. So if you are already a legacy builder or a digital mastery or a passive launchpad or the launchpad or passive daily pay blueprint customer, please get your questions answered inside the community. We would love to help you. This is for your guests. Okay, so Amy, who's next?
Okay, we've got, let me see, is it Christian? Just gotta unmute, hit that little microphone. Yeah, there you go.
Hello.
All right, what was your question?
Can I ask the question?
Yes.
Okay. What is the minimum amount to withdraw in this?
Okay, so yeah, that was the Ford. Let me just pull that screen up again real quick. I'll just grab that screen again.
I am from India.
Okay, let me show you one more time. Okay, so we have the Legacy Builder program that is $900. Okay, you have a $900 set, or then we have our Digital Mastery that's $600. We have our Passive Daily Pay Blueprint that's $300, and then our Launchpad that's $100. So after you make that purchase, then you'll immediately be taken to a page to pay for your $29 website fee. Because the company creates the website for you. You guys, all you got to do is plug your information in. So you have a one-time of $900, $600, $300, or $100, and then a one-time $29 website fee. Now, after that, you guys, there's no monthly expenses. Because the automated system, that funnel that I shared with you, that is free. And we will show you how to market your business for free. The only other expenses that you are going to have would be you need to get a domain. And right now you can get a domain from GoDaddy for like $3.99 per year. And then you also want to get your personalized email to go on with a professional email to go on with your domain. And I think it's like $25 a year. And so that's it. After that, we will show you how to build your business without any monthly expenses. Okay, so we have Noreen and Roger.
There we go.
Here we are.
Thank you, Michelle, for taking our question.
Yes,
This
you're
has
welcome.
been a question that's been ongoing, and I hope I can preface it in a good way. The name of the company is Digital Growth, right?
No, that is the name of the community, Digital Growth Community.
What is the name of the company?
Expect to Win LLC.
So my question is, Michelle, then, is this company a domestic company or is it a foreign company?
It's here, it's mine, so it's in Kansas, in the United States.
It's in Kansas.
Yes.
So all the programs and everything came out of Kansas?
Well, they're on the internet, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I just want to know, this is kind of sums up my question. Like, and I saw the lady earlier wearing a Jesus shirt, which is kind of cool. I assume the company has very high moral standards as far as it's not involved in anything that a lot of us would consider immoral. I like your shake of the head there, Amy. Okay, good.
Well, it's so interesting that you say that because we protect our community at all costs. And so that's why Amy's shaking her head. We believe in ethics, we believe in character, we believe in morals. And if people do not want to have that, then we just really don't want them in our community. And so, yes, I protect it. And sometimes that comes out of, get some haters from that, but yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
That's my biggest question.
Yes.
I hear a lot of great stuff coming out of all your testimonies. I guess the only other question I would have had is, we hear all these great stories of people who have succeeded, making great results and whatever. How about the people who have struggled? Like, we don't hear, obviously, for obvious reasons, we don't hear how they struggled, but I assume some people do, and it's probably lack of commitment. I don't know. Can you share on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's no different than anything, right? So you can go join a gym membership, right? And you can go to a gym and you don't get abs. You can't blame it on the gym, right? You got to blame it on your work ethic and you being consistent and not following the exercises in the gym. But you don't hear gyms talk about the people that didn't have results, because the only reason they didn't have results is because they just weren't willing to either do the work or take enough time to get it to work for them. And so we are very big in our community on focus on what you want, not what you don't want, because that's what you're going to get more of. So I don't teach my community to talk about what they don't get. I teach them to talk about what do you want, and let's peel back those layers. Let's find what's the trauma, what's the limiting beliefs, what's holding you back from being able to reach your goals and dreams. I'm very big on that. So we don't focus on what they don't have yet. We focus on what is those blocks holding you back from getting what you want. And everybody's definition of success is completely different. I have people inside my community that want to make $1,000 a month, and he loves his job, loves his family. They just want to go camping more often. He goes, if I can just make $1,000 a month, I can take my boys camping more. That's success. But somebody else might think that is not success, right? So everybody has a complete definition of success. But all I know is May 22nd of 2023, we had 1,000 people in our community, and now we're at 19,000 because the process works. It's all from following the marketing strategies that we share in this program, and from building a very ethic and moral business. That's everything. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle, for taking our question. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Great questions. Love it.
Big call.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. We have next, Jenny.
Hello. So 2 questions. My first is TikTok, does it seem to have the best results? Because so far I've refused to put TikTok on my phone.
Love it. No, that's such a good question. You know what? The best results are the one that you stay consistent with. They all work, my friend. They all work. We have people using all of them. You know, like I have people having massive success on Facebook. I have some on YouTube. We have some on TikTok. We have some on Instagram. They all work. It just is the one that you plug in and just stay consistent with. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume, which is why I'm asking, that you make your money the same way that we are all making our money.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I promote the 4 Different Digital Program. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yes. Awesome. Good questions. I love your guys' questions.
Definitely. Charlotte is going to be next.
From South Africa over here as well. So I'm looking to start this, but right now we can only kind of like risk and afford the $100 package, and I want to find out if you could still produce kind of the same results, like if it's still worth getting into, like just starting with the $100 package and then like upgrading as you
Absolutely.
make more income.
Okay, so with the launch pad, if that's all you can afford right now, I mean, you're better to do something than nothing, right? Because what you're doing now is not getting you the results you want. The only way you're going to get results you want is you got to make some type of change. And so you can start with a launch pad, and here's what I recommend. Go through the Launch to Profit in 7 days and really start going through that 30-day strategy plan that I give you. And then get your first customer, then your business is in profit mode, right? And then your goal should be to get 2 more customers and invest that and purchase the passive daily pay blueprint. And then just keep on working your way up till you have all 4 income streams. Mm-hmm. That's what I recommend.
And then if you purchase the $100 one, and then you want to start moving up, are you gonna pay the full amount each time? So you're gonna pay $100 and then $300, then Is that how it's going?
Yeah, just a price difference is all you pay. So yeah. So if you want to upgrade to the passive daily pay blueprint, you just pay the $200 difference.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, and also, sorry. Also about the course materials. Do you still get the same type of training? Is the bigger packages, or does that just include extras?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a total different training in each PAX, right? Because you get what you pay for. But that's why I say that I would work on upgrading so you can get all of the training.
Okay, cool. I think that's all for now. Thanks.
All right, we've got Rick. Did you get it, Rick?
Hi, ladies. Can you hear me okay?
Right there.
Great. Okay, Michelle, thank you for taking questions today. Greatly appreciate it as we evaluate this. Two basic questions.
We're losing you, Rick.
I've trained a lot who are getting results, including my full training inviting me here. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Tess, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, I'll try back shortly.
Can you pull over maybe? Are you driving?
Yeah, maybe he can try it. We'll go to Sarah real quick.
Yeah, we'll go to Sarah.
Hi, thanks for having me. You're going to see me again. I can tell you. But I do have a couple questions before I sign up. To clarify, there are no monthly expenses for other software, for building funnels, for the automation software, any of that. It's all built in, correct?
Yeah, so we use a company called Systeme.io, and you get your complete funnel system, your email campaigns, all of it is in one place and it's free. I mean, I built my business of 6 figures without it costing me anything.
Wow. Okay. And then next question, with Facebook and Messenger, can you promote this in I'm in several group chat groups with different, can you do that or do you get banned that way?
I mean, I don't know about groups. You could just probably check what their guidelines are. I think each of them are a little bit different. I do think you can join groups and kind of build relationships with people in there and then share it with them. I think that's a great idea.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Good questions.
All right, Rick, let's try you one more time.
Yes, some people do have payment plans,
Hey,
you
can you
guys.
hear me now?
It's just different for every country. So just go, when you get to somebody's website, just scroll down to the very bottom of their website and you can see what payment plans they offer.
Okay, try again, Rick.
Hello?
He's driving, so I don't know that we're going to get any reception from him. Okay. Is it Cian? Okay.
Yep. Hi. I have 2 questions. The first one is, what package do I have to buy? What package do I need to buy? I'm very interested in building my invisible brand. And is that come in any package or?
Yes, that bonus comes with all the packages.
Okay, wonderful. And then my other question is, I don't have a problem using AI or System AI or AI, what it's called, but I'm a funnel builder certified through ClickFunnels. And I already pay for it. I already have everything set up. Do I have to build in that system or can I do my own funnel?
The website and everything will be hosted in there. If you want to create your own automated system, you can. It's just understand that the moment you do that, I can't help you get it to convert because I don't know how it should convert. Ours is a proven converting funnel. Like I know, like I want it to, like on average inside our community, 1 out of 20 people buy, right? And so the moment you mess with that or you create your own, you got to work on your own numbers to get it to convert for you.
Okay.
And because I've shaved off that learning curve for people, that's why people are able to get faster results. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
But you are more than welcome to use ClickFunnels, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Understand that part, yeah. But also when you're looking at like what product to get, it's based on really what kind of income do you want to make? Because obviously the more income streams you have, the more you're going to make, right? And so that's something that is very important to understand that. But just get in that, you know, what is best for your goals and dreams, because they're all great. But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So awesome. I think we're good with questions. Thanks everybody, because everybody else is not showing their camera. So you see, is that right, Amy? Or is there other people showing their camera? Because I don't see any.
Got Latrina. She's had her camera on.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see that one.
No, that's okay.
I think she's also already in the community though.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, that's.
Oh, there's a Nola that has her camera on now.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, if you're inside the community, guys, you can go to the community and ask your questions.
Hi, I just wanted to find out. So you guys have been mentioning, you know, like kind of getting back to the person who invited us. Is that kind of like going to be a situation like if I buy in, like everyone's just going to have to get back to me? Like, is it a mentorship kind of situation, or is it just to kind of get started?
Well, no, when we say that, it's because you got to get back because that's the only way you're going to build and get the link to buy.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
They have the link, right? I don't have the link for you to buy unless I invited you here, right? So
yeah,
everybody individually, but good question though. I love that question, by the way, because I get what you're saying. You're like, oh my gosh, if I bring in 100 customers, do I got to mentor these customers, right? Is that kind of your question?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Okay. So no. Okay, good. Love it. Once they're inside the community, so when we mean get back with the person, that means so you can get the link from them to purchase, right? And the moment you purchase, so you pay for your program, and then the moment you pay your program, you pay the $29 website fee, and then you're immediately, you'll get an email. So you guys make sure to check your spam if you don't see an email, because that can go to the spam, and you'll get immediate access to the community and an immediate access to your program. We do live interactive training. Like yesterday, Amy, she did a training on social media, right? The day before I did a training how to create your own program. There's 5 live calls. And so your customers get all that interactive and training as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to Lois. Oh. Did you do that? Okay. It flipped around on us.
I know, that's crazy.
Hi.
Go ahead,
Hi.
Lois. Yeah.
My question is a bit unusual. Most of the people on this call have been invited by somebody else. So what revenue are you getting from, how do you get your revenue from all this training and all the time that you're giving to the other people's customers?
What is that question?
Okay, let me say, most of the people on this call have been invited by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So you're not going to get any revenue from this call.
No, well, yeah, I will say because I have guests on here as well.
Okay.
I have
you do a
guests on
lot of training that you're obviously not getting compensated for.
Yep, and I've been doing that literally since November of 2022. I've been doing training inside my community because I believe in the more that you give, the more you're going to get. And the more I train, the better I get to know my community, the better I get to know my perfect customers, and the better value I can deliver. And I just believe that's the way the world should be.
Okay, thank you.
How many more, Michelle?
And our community agrees with that. In the same way, we all believe in paying it forward and just working together and helping each other. And because of that is why the moment you add greed in your life, you guys, there's no money made in greed. The money's made when you go and you pour into people. The more you pour, the more pours into you. And we created a community like that. And so if that's something you guys don't like, this probably isn't the community for you. So, okay.
Are you good? What?
Yeah, because we gotta bounce, you guys. If you guys have more questions, just get back with the person that you purchased from. You can email them your questions. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Happy Friday. Get back with the person, just scroll down to the email, and in the PS, you can go ahead and get started, and we look forward to seeing you inside the community. Thanks, everybody, and Amy, have a blast with your children.
Oh, thank you. You guys too.
And we are live. Hey, everybody, this is Roberto Blake, helping you create something awesome today. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are doing a YouTube live thumbnail workshop. We are going to be working in Photoshop today. Sorry to all of you Canva enthusiasts. We're going to be working in Photoshop, the thing that most of the biggest and largest creators use on the YouTube platform. We are doing another workshop Wednesday. For those of you not familiar with the streaming schedule, we do monetization Mondays to help you learn how to make money as a content creator. We're aiming to get you to $10,000 a month in revenue. We do workshop Wednesdays to help you with practical skills. And then we do FAQ Fridays to answer all your questions about YouTube strategy, analytics, and overall content ideation. So make sure that you are subscribed and that you are tuning into the streams. Shout out to our sponsors of today's free workshop, our friends over at StreamYard. Make sure you're checking them out. Links are in the description, or at least they should be. And also, of course, our friends over at Opus Clip. Between StreamYard and Opus Clip, that's how we're repurposing our content across all platforms. And of course, we are on Kajabi so that we're not digital sharecroppers for the platforms forever and ever and ever. And we're building our own online products, digital products, and membership, and not splitting a commission with the platforms when we do it. So those are all the things. I'm going to make sure that links to everything are in the description down below. I'm going to copy and paste that stuff over to the description so that we can refresh that on the stream. Also, shout out to all of our channel members and shout out to all of our super chatters. Appreciate each and every one of you. We've also got links to our digital download products and to Awesome Creator Academy and some of the resources mentioned here on the stream. We also definitely want to make sure you get the 12-week creator playbook. It is absolutely free. I'm going to be dropping that in the comments here in the live chat for you to get the free creator playbook. You can download that. It's going to help you focus this year, do a 12-week sprint, and it's, of course, linked in the description of the video. So without further ado, let's kind of jump into some of this. We're going to actually be looking at a couple of things. One of the main things we are going to be looking at is going to be Photoshop, which I'm opening up here shortly. Just looking for that screen here in StreamYard so I can share it. So you should be able to see my screen now, and you should be able to see Photoshop in all of its glory. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adjust it for size here so that it's easier to manage. And we're going to zoom in so that you get a sense of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you first through some of the basics of YouTube thumbnail theory and the VIBES framework. And VIBES stands for visually attractive. I is for interesting at a glance. We call that informs with storytelling. But the easiest way for you guys to remember is interesting at a glance. The B in VIBES is for boldness and contrast. E is for eye-catching elements, and then S is for social proof. Social proof being very important. And we're going to analyze and talk about some of the biggest YouTubers and how they do that. So now you kind of understand how the VIBES framework works. At least I hope you do. You can feel free to ask questions about this. But in terms of basic YouTube thumbnail theory and how we approach YouTube thumbnails, you can kind of see a little bit of my approach to this when you look at and you deconstruct thumbnails that I tend to make. And if I open up a little bit of a more, let's say, a theoretically more complicated thumbnail in Photoshop, I can give you a sense of like how I approach thumbnail designs and how I utilize things like the VIBES framework that I'm talking about. So I'm going to open up one of my thumbnail templates, which, by the way, you may notice I build thumbnail systems for my YouTube channel. So what does that mean? I know I talk about things like brand deals. So what do? I have color, themes, and elements. And how do we break down what I talked about? Boldness and contrast. So we definitely have that in here. We have eye-catching elements like the YouTube logo. We have social proof. We have money here in the thumbnail. We have things that are interesting at a glance. Everyone cares about money. Everyone cares about YouTube. Everyone cares about making 100K. So that's something, and that's just an example of that. Same thing in this other thumbnail. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that these are inherently perfect thumbnails. I'm saying they're intentional and they can be effective for my channel. So effective for my channel isn't meaning 1 million view video, 100,000 view video. It just means for the niche that I'm in, what's the normal view floor of those type of videos compared to my peers, people like Justin Welsh, for example. What does he pull on a brand deals video? He specializes in brand deals, so that would be important. So if we just look at some elements and some things, one of the reasons that I might decide, okay, I'm going to put myself here on the left instead of the right could be because the YouTube timestamp shows up in the bottom right-hand corner. Maybe I'm worried about my text running into that. But maybe I can go a different route. Maybe if I want to look at these elements, I can go, you know what? That YouTube play button, if I put that in the corner, it's not going to have any problems if I put that in the bottom right-hand corner there, because you'll still be able to see the YouTube logo even with the timestamp. So maybe that's not a problem. So in terms of visual balance and layout, I've got that going on. Now, what about the money? The money aspect here could be some social proof. So what would I do in terms of some of these elements here? If money is social proof, and I don't necessarily absolutely need this huge dollar sign, but it does maybe play some role, then maybe what I do to communicate this and the social proof is I adjust this in such a way that these elements are there, visually balanced and subtle. And so at a glance, these objects and these things are laid out in an interesting way that tells you the idea. Even without text, the idea is very clear when it comes to this. Now, in terms of fonts, if I decide to use this font that I'm going to go ahead and borrow, I'm going to tell you the fonts that I use, and I'm going to show you the fonts I use and why. If I go this route and I decide to lay out my text in this way, And I decided that I'm also going to shrink this text up a little bit. It still can be easy to read, but I'm going to make sure it doesn't run into too much of that dollar sign there. And so I've created some depth to this. You can still read it. It's still easy to understand what the video is about. We know it's about brand deals. So at a glance, you get the idea of what the video is about. It's visually balanced. It's strong left to right. My text is not going to run to the timestamp on the video. It stands out from the background. It's got contrast. It's got those elements to it. And the thing is, it's easy to understand. It's immediately easy to understand why you should click on this video. So if you see a title that says, hey, I care about brand deals, and you see the money, show me the money. You see a dollar sign, universal equivalent. You see YouTube. You now, at a glance, without thinking too hard, in less than 2 seconds, understand what this video is about. So it's a visually attractive thumbnail. It's visually balanced. It's interesting at a glance. Hey, why is this guy talking about money and brand deals in YouTube? That's interesting at a glance. You can get the idea. You're informed. Bold, contrast, and text. We've got that. We've got eye-catching elements. Money, YouTube logo. We've got elements. Okay? And then we have social proof in the form of the money itself. And to a degree, you could argue the YouTube logo is a form of social proof. So that's why we use the Vibes framework. The Vibes framework is something I teach in Awesome Creator Academy. It's something that I talk about quite a bit. And if I go to like one of my slides here, talk about clickable thumbnails, remember what we said. It's visually attractive. That's the V in Vibes. Informs, interesting at a glance. That's the I. Bold text and contrast color. That's the B for bold. Eye-catching elements. That's the E. And then social proof. That is the S. And so it all makes sense now. So almost all effective YouTube thumbnails have this in common. Again, thank you to our sponsor, StreamYard, because I see some of you are asking, am I streaming anywhere other than Twitter? Yes, I am. I'm on x.com, formerly Twitter, thanks to StreamYard, twitch.com, kick.com, youtube.com, LinkedIn Live, and Facebook Live. 6 platforms all at once. We've got almost 250 of you in the stream across all platforms. I think we're getting closer and closer to having 100 of you on YouTube. It's not bad for a Wednesday night. So we're doing Workshop Wednesdays again. And like I said, share this with a friend. Share this out anywhere you possibly can. We're going to help you with thumbnails. So again, this is all practical advice, and we're showing you how it works. Showing you how all of this more or less works. So in terms of building out your thumbnails, if I were to say I'm going to make a new thumbnail, I either want to make it 1920 by 1080. I can always export it at 80 by 720, so that we have the smaller file size. But YouTube will take 19 by 20 or 1280 by 720. So it'll take either of those, as long as it's in the horizontal format. So we can definitely do that. I want to start with a transparent background. This becomes very important in the long run. So that is going to help us tremendously. Okay. I'm going to see if I have any versions of myself in terms of poses on this particular computer. Hopefully I should, that we can cut out so that I can show you about background removal in Photoshop and why that's important for your thumbnails. So we're going to see if I have poses of myself that we can use so that we can cut those out. If not, I'll probably just download them from my website or from my Canva poses archive, because I do have that somewhere, or I have it in Google Drive. So we'll see. Let's see here. Actually, I have something from a different image, a promotional image. We can just cut me out of the background here just to show off how this works in Photoshop. So we brought me into this. I was already on background here. We're just going to click remove background. And so, boom, it does that. It does a good job. We've removed me from the background. Now, to work in Photoshop, we're going to move a layer below me. We're going to paint that layer black just so that I get a sense of what we're working with here. So this is actually pretty decent. It's near perfect. It's good enough for our purposes. We could always clean this up if we wanted to. We could go in and remove a few of these things in terms of artifacts, but that's not really important here, since what we're going to focus on is we're going to focus on the concept of layouts. And what we're going to do here is some of you may be familiar with the YouTube channel Diary of a CEO. Anybody in the chat familiar with the podcast Diary of a CEO? Anybody? Bueller? You guys familiar with Diary of a CEO at all? Because they have a very simple but effective thumbnail strategy when it comes to YouTube. So I'm going to see if I can share this for you. Diary of a CEO. So their videos, let's share the screen here. Share screen, Diary of CEO, on YouTube, allow. Okay, so Diary of a CEO. This is their YouTube channel. And as you can see, it uses a very effective branding scheme. And it takes probably one of the most important elements of the thumbnail, uses a black background, and then uses a strong word in a quote with a red background around the text. We're going to recreate this as simple as this is. This is actually a struggle for a lot of you when it comes to typography, because you don't understand type, you don't understand fonts, and I'm going to help you get a better grasp of this, because it's one of the most important things you can do. So if I go ahead and I share my screen when it comes to Photoshop.
Find big deals at Best Buy this Memorial Day. Hurry, the savings end soon.
Try Old Spice shampoos to achieve thick and healthy looking hair.
Let's see. Here we go. They're smart about their branding. Now, one of the things they do right is they're using a very easy to read, strong font in a large enough size that we're on a mobile device, we can at a glance read what's going on. So that becomes really important. And in their case, they're also not abusing all the text being in caps. So if we go, YouTubers are, and then we go, okay, this would be something that might be similar in copy to what Diary of a CEO does with inflammatory statement. In terms of an inflammatory statement. Now, I'm going to show you a trick with this. Diary of a CEO has the strategy of using an inflammatory statement with red text behind white text on a black background. And I'm using that inflammatory statement method to create visual impact right now. And one of the other things is they also use very specific text blocking to some degree in their approach. I'm doing an inverted version of it where instead of having it on the left-hand side, I'm going to put it on the right-hand side, but I'm already doing something very similar. Okay, and you can kind of see it here. Now, what am I going to do to recreate the Diary of a CEO branding? I'm going to make sure I make a square that has no stroke around it and a red background fill, and it's mostly going to, I don't want it to be a rounded rectangle, so I'm going to also, in my settings here in Photoshop, eliminate the rounded corners, so that's going to be 0. Let's see. Yep, so it's just going to be a hard square, or sorry, hard rectangle, I should say. It's going to be a hard rectangle that goes behind my text. And it's going to be very much tight. In my case, I'm going to not have it too tight, but it's going to be pretty close. And then in terms of visual impact, that's a very strong thumbnail and text lockup. And what I did with that is I used certain shortcuts and tools in Photoshop to accomplish this. I can talk to you and tell you a little bit about what those are. But in terms of the layout, this has a high level of visual impact right then and there. So this becomes a really strong visual statement that grabs your attention. And there's actually contrast in the thing that I'm saying and the thing I'm portraying, which can be intriguing. So this is then a visual and psychological trick to intrigue the viewer into the statement around the video. So again, this can be very powerful and this can be very compelling. And this is based on the branding style of Diary of the CEO. Now, if I didn't want to directly rip off Diary of the CEO and then also just have this be plain and flat, which is it is a strategy in terms of a thumbnail design, I can take this a little further and make it my own. I can use the brush tool, and I'm going to go down to something like initially maybe 30 opacity with the brush tool. I'm going to show you a trick. So I'm also using shortcut I. I'm going to sample this red here. I like this. And then I'm going to create a blank layer behind the model layer, which is me here. I'm the model for this. And I'm going to use this red with the opacity. I'm going to make sure my hardness is down to 0. So actually, I'm going to erase this real quick, and then I'm going to start over. So I'm going to use the red. Maybe let's go to 40%. And I'm using a soft brush to create this red behind me that kind of just creates this more moody vibe. I'm going to use 10% now and just kind of bring it out a little bit. And so if I want to, like, you know, just kind of like put a little bit more in there, I can create another layer above me with some black and start to fade a little bit of that too, as if there's like a little bit of a shadow or a spotlight or something like that in a certain area. So I can kind of create this more dramatic effect. And so look at the dramatic effect that happens when I do that. So look, this is it without it, and this is it with it. And I would say that this is much more dramatic. I would say that this is much more eye-catching and much more dramatic overall, and that it sets a tone that feels more cinematic, but it also feels like the vibe is a little bit more sinister. Like that's something that gets implied there. So that's one element, one thing we can do. If we want to take this a little further, we can create a type of layer that's called an overlay layer. And then we can use a white brush with an overlay layer, make that maybe 20%, shrink that down. And then we can just kind of brighten me up in this area to create some more dramatic lighting. And then we can flip over shortcut X to black. And maybe I'm a little darker over here, but maybe not too much, because we don't want to make it impossible to see me. But we're kind of painting with light here and controlling our lighting on this overlay layer. So we want to say that this is overlay. We have this at 100%. So this is a technique that a lot of content creators use. And so that's pretty dope. Now, if we want to clean up some of the artifacts that didn't get taken out when we did our mask to remove the background, we just go to 100% black. We shrink up our brush a little bit. We click on this mask layer here. and then we just would paint out these areas by hand. This is easier if you have a graphics tablet. And so when you don't have a perfectly clean selection, you do that. Sometimes we don't want the brush to be 100% soft for that. We might move it to something like 70 or 80 so that we have a little bit of a harder edge to that brush. And we just clean up some of these artifacts just ever so slightly, ever so slowly, hyper zoomed in so that that masking is a little cleaner. We zoom in more with our brush. Again, this is much easier with if you have a graphics tablet, if you have a pen like a Wacom tablet or something like that. And you just clean up some of these edges here where it did not perfectly remove us from the background. Again, it's subtle, it's small. You may not think it matters, but just a little bit of cleanup work goes a long way. And then you can see it now. You can really see the difference that that made. Just doing a little bit of cleanup work, just a little bit of edge work there. Now, again, you can be more granular. You can do things like use the pen tool in Photoshop. Some people want to do that. Some people want to use that. Like me, I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm kind of old school like that. So again, this just shows you a way we can create a fairly dynamic thumbnail really quickly. The key to this that makes this work is having photos of yourself and poses that you can use and cut yourself out and remove yourself from the background. For a lot of you, the photography aspect of this is really important. In fact, to recreate the big YouTubers' thumbnails, the big key to it is photography. The big key to the big YouTubers' thumbnails is that they all do staged photography for their YouTube videos. That's what Eric does. That's what Mr. Beast does. That's what Ryan Cranhan does. So it's their poses. It's their poses. And the thing is, you can kind of see this and get a sense of this in my analytics thumbnails, where I cut myself out from the background, where I'm holding the data. And this data that I'm holding, I photoshopped in that data. It's really just a blank white board that I have with a photo in my basement. And then I'm superimposing the data charts. These data charts are all from my YouTube analytics stuff, superimposed in Photoshop with just a white board. I could even have handwritten text on here to make the Instagram meme if I wanted to. So that's how this is done. That's because I'm doing photo shoots to pose for my thumbnails. And that's what all the big YouTubers are doing, is they are doing staged poses, interacting with the imagined thing in their backgrounds for their thumbnails. So that's how this is accomplished. So let's go ahead and take some questions from the chat. And then also I might recreate, some thumbnails. So let's go ahead and go to some of what you guys are saying in the chat. Seaside Adventures with Mommy and Me says, this is a lot of work. I'm overwhelmed already. Yikes. I'm still in the process of learning Canva. Yeah, it can be. It can be. Brandon's Recovery says, what's GIMP? GIMP is a free open source Photoshop knockoff. It can be really difficult to use, but it is still around. It is still around. June to Rio says, is it better to be consistent with color over all your videos or variety based on topic? Topic always comes first. Topic always comes first when it comes to the videos. You could try to keep some branding in place. Yes, we are using Photoshop for this. I am always Photoshop because it is the most powerful tool you can use. It is what the biggest YouTubers use. Most big YouTubers with 1 million subscribers, they're using Photoshop. 100,000 subscribers, they're using Photoshop. Sophie McDonald says, there is one problem with Diary of CEO identity design. It's too easy to replicate and is already being replicated. What would you suggest to create contrast against your competition? Well, actually, that's where I came in and I showed you, okay, if I was going to somewhat take their idea, here's how I improve upon that idea, add my own elements. And in my case, that was how I went in and I decided to work with dramatic lighting and to work with background lighting and then to create this sinister kind of overtone. And the thing is, you can tell that that's more on brand for me because you guys have seen me do negative framed thumbnails with a similar strategy to this. And so me using that concept of negative thumbnails, has worked in the past. And so you can see how that has been part of my strategy and how it's different. And I was doing that before Diver CEO was ever doing videos, by the way. This strategy and what they're doing has been used in negative ad campaigns as far back as the 1990s. So Diver CEO wasn't the first person to come out with this strategy, even use the fonts and the blocking and the layout and the quotes, the dark background, contrast lighting, all of that. That actually goes back to negative ad campaigns from the early 1990s. It's an attack ad strategy that was used in billboards and politics. And Diver CEO basically replicated that, or was inspired by that. The font that I'm using is Futura Bold, but there are other great fonts that work with this. Some of the best fonts on YouTube are actually Inter. Inter can be a great font. Look at how strong Inter is. This is actually really good. More of you should be using Futura Bold, Inter. Oswald can be very good. Oswald Bold can be very good. I'm not going to use me. I'm going to use semi-bold here. So Oswald can be good. You can see that. Also, Helvetica obviously is strong. So you can use Helvetica Black and Helvetica Bold. Very powerful. You can use a combination of this is Helvetica Black, and then you could also use a Helvetica Bold, or you could use something else with it. You could use Bebas New Bold. Bebas New Bold can be strong, but you'll want to definitely adjust the kerning with that, which is the space between letters. You'll want to do that. So that could be an option for you. But I think that Futura Bold is one of the best YouTube fonts that there is. I would say that Futura Bold, Poppins, Inter, Oswald, Roboto, and those are all probably free fonts if I remember correctly. Those are some of the best. Some of the absolute best that you could pick. Do I have gaming thumbnail ideas? I do. I work with a lot of Clash of Clans creators. Let me see if I have.
Hey, what's up, Nico? Dad, don't freak, but I kind of messed up. My only nice shirt with barbecue wing stains.
Well, just throw it in the wash.
This bottle says I need a pre-treat.
That's your problem. That stuff has way more water. Tide cleans better.
Okay, so I don't need to use a full cap for large loads?
Nope. A little bit of Tide goes a long way, so you could save money too.
Nice. More money for nights at the library.
Right.
It's got to be Tide. And now Bespoke AI Laundry Combo is Tide Cold certified.
Come with me, my land, to the sea. I love you.
Anything I can open. Let's see. Trying to see if I have something I can open that is more gaming inspired that can help some of you gamers. Because I've worked with a lot of Clash of Clans creators in the past, and other Supercell mobile gaming creators. So Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, Clash Mini, things like that. And so I'm going to look and see if there's something that I've created in the past that I can open up here that I happen to have in a saved Photoshop file that could inspire any of you. It's just a matter of whether I saved it or not. I may or may not have it on this machine. I might have it on another machine. Let's see. This one's not a gaming inspired one, but this one is definitely a tech. While I'm looking for a gaming one, just to give you guys a change of pace, this is a potential tech video for a desk tour. And the thing is, I can make this really interesting, even with just a color blocking change in the text. So let's see, with a color blocking change in the text, that immediately pops a lot more. And the thing is, I have some elements here, and you could argue that this is cluttered, but you could also argue that this helps create social proof of saying if this is a $15 video editing desk, having the price points for each of the items just kind of sells the idea. So the thing is, we could either rely on the numbers to do it itself, and just the desk itself and say, okay, wow, that's kind of dope, and we got the lighting, we got all the things. Or, I would probably A/B test it and see if having dollar signs for each of the items that kind of says, okay, I see how that's $15,000 now. We would see if that appealed more. So these are things we could do. And this was a lot of work because, as you can see here, the amount of layers in that layers folder to do the rounded rectangles and the dollar amounts was pretty significant. Here's a trick if we also wanted to create a little bit more depth with this. We can actually apply a drop shadow to everything in that folder. And then all of a sudden, we literally have a drop shadow that we've created for everything on that folder. And I can also add a double drop shadow to make it more obvious or more pronounced. So the thing is, when you create a grouped layers folder in Photoshop, you can actually apply style effects to everything on that group's folder layer. So that's pretty cool. So that gives us those effects, and we can toggle those effects on or off or adjust them as we choose, but they're there. So we have that. And then obviously if we make this folder layer invisible, everything goes away. So, that's just a different type of thumbnail design for you. It's not a gaming thumbnail. I'm still looking for something like that for you. Let me see if... Let me search my Mac and see if I have any of these gaming thumbnails. But to be honest with you, gaming thumbnails are not really that complicated. You literally, if I was going to show you a really good example, of a gaming thumbnail and explain a gaming thumbnail, let me go to, who do I want? Whose channel do I want? Whose channel do I want? Let me see. You can go to... Actually, yeah, there's a channel I can share with you that would work. Let me share this small creator that I think does great thumbnails. Because like a lot of times we just keep sharing big creators, and that's not always particularly helpful because big creators aren't really relatable. So I think that Willie, he is a Clash player. He plays Clash of Clans. I think that Willie's thumbnails are actually really good. Some of them are simple, but they're really good. Now, if we go to like some of his most popular videos, again, he's a small content creator, he's a small YouTuber, but look at his thumbnails. So in terms of gaming thumbnails, I think this can be really good. My thought is that like a character recognizable to the game is usually one of the best things to put in a thumbnail. So that's an example here with Willie. Who else can I use? Nate does a really good job. Nate Clash Royale, he does a good job. He's under 100,000 subs. But if you're looking for inspiration for gaming thumbnails, this is what you'd want to look at, is stuff like this. And so I feel like he does really well. You can see what's been working for him in the game. And the thing is, it just makes it obvious what game you're playing. It's using a familiar character from the game. It's easy to understand what's going on here, like at a glance. So, like, for number one, road to number one, the social proof is there in the graphic right then and there. It is visually interesting. It is easy to understand what's going on here. And so, easy peasy. Ladder push. Okay, there's the graphic. There's our social proof right there. So using social proof in thumbnails for gaming, when you want to do gaming, use social proof in terms of things like ranking, ladders, high score, some in-game award or trophy. You want to utilize that. The characters from the game or the game's logo can be social proof itself. Another example of this is Composure, who is a Brawl Stars player. So Composure is really good. Look at his thumbnails. Yeah, very strong there. 37,000 subscribers. So again, not a huge content creator, but doing great work, getting great views. I've worked with Composure before. And so this would be an example for those of you in gaming of, what would look good. And the thing is, it's really about understanding the culture of the game, understanding the aesthetics, understanding the lore, the characters that everyone recognizes, what the meta of your game is. So for gaming, that's most of what I would tell you there. I don't want to harp on this too much in terms of gaming. Speak Spanish Now says, so the idea of using Speak Spanish Now says, so the idea is using 3 to 4 word max is not necessarily a real thing accordingly. It depends. There are exceptions versus the rule. 3 to 4 word rule max exists for a reason, because it comes from the old days of graphic design and billboards. The reality is that you only have a few, you have to be able to communicate your idea. Think about it like this. Someone's scrolling on YouTube. How many seconds? Let me know in the chat. All right, let's test the chat out on this. When you're scrolling in YouTube, how many seconds does it really take in terms of you paying attention to something? When you scroll and you're looking at thumbnails, how much time do you give attention? How much attention do you give to an individual thumbnail when you're scrolling through there? How long does a thumbnail have to grab your attentions? How many seconds? How many seconds does a thumbnail have to grab your attention? Let's post it up in the chat. How many seconds? I want your response. I'm going to chug some water, and then we'll see what you guys say, and then I'll tell you what the psychological answer is based on how this works, but also how billboards work. So, common answer here, 3 seconds, 1 second, 1 second, 2 at the most, 1 second or less. People are saying, so the most common answers are topping out at 3 seconds. And the most common median answer is 1 to 3 seconds, which means that basically on average, it's 2 seconds on average. So it's basically on average 2 seconds. So it's between 1 and 3, averages out to 2. So how much attention you can give to something is very minimum when you're scrolling on YouTube. Same thing when you're passing a billboard on the highway. This is the internet superhighway, remember? So we use billboard psychology in the same way. So that's where 3 to 4 words maximum for us to be able to process that information as quickly as possible is true. There are exceptions to the rule, like Diary of the CEO, but they also have a lot of social proof in their favor. One, they only interview hyper relevant, figures in entertainment, politics, media, top of their field, world renowned. 2, so they use social proof in that way. Interesting at a glance, they use inflammatory language in the title and thumbnail to be interesting at a glance. And then they're using bold and contrast with the black, white, and red because they're using visual acuity. They're using black, white, and red. That's the high contrast spectrum for visual acuity. So they're using that. So they're winning on that. And then in terms of being visually attractive, they're using black background, white text, red outline, and they're using usually good photography. So they're visually attractive. It's interesting at a glance because it's inflammatory. It's using bold and contrast. It's eye-catching, and they're using social proof, the social proof of the person they're interviewing that already has notoriety, infamy, controversy, or fame. And then the podcast itself also has notoriety, social proof, infamy, and fame. So the thing is, when you have enough of those things in combination, you can be an exception to some rules. But you have to remember that where it's an exception, it is following the majority of the rules, and it's only leaning on breaking one rule while following every other rule. That's what's happening here. So the thing is, if you're following 99% of the rules, the problem is people hyperfixate on, oh, this person threw out this one rule, so they're not playing by the rules. They're playing by the other 99 or the other 95. And all anyone does is pay attention to the 1, 2, or 3 rules that someone's breaking while they're doing everything else by the book and using everything else to their advantage. So, psychology. I'm going to tell you another hack about billboard psychology and thumbnails, by the way. I'm going to tell you another hack about billboard psychology and thumbnails. So, when it comes to billboard psychology and thumbnails, why do we choose the colors that we choose? I want you guys, what colors are the signs when you guys are heading down the highway? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to tell you what the question is. But what color are the signs on the highway? Does anyone remember? You got a couple of different road signs when you're driving down the highway at 60, 80 plus miles per hour. And they need to make sure that it's going to be hyper visible to you, even at night, So what do you see going down the highway? And it's even in the middle of the night and you can still see it. Okay. So we got a couple of answers in the chat. I'm going to give you a little bit more time to get your answers together in the chat. And then when I show you YouTube, this is going to blow your mind. Okay, so in the chat, a lot of you are saying black and white and red. You're talking green, yellow, white. Some of you are bringing up blue. You're bringing up primary colors, plus blue, green, yellow, red, so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to tell you, and this is going to be very interesting for a lot of you. And then I'm gonna show you some YouTubers. And this is gonna blow your mind. So one of the colors on the highway that you always see is going to be blue with white text for the rest stops, but also green on the highway, and you're always gonna be seeing green on the highway. And it's green with white text. So you see blue with white text, green with white text. Your stop signs are red with white text. Your hazard signs are yellow with black text. So guess what? All of the, everything you need to know in terms of visual acuity, visual contrast, already exist in that. What is the main color associated with Arac? It's red. What is the color associated with Tyler Oliveira? It's blue. Okay, it's blue. And then what is the color? Why is Ryan's channel not coming up? The color, frankly, associated with Ryan Trahan often tends to be green. Dire CEO, it's black, red, and white. Why? We always see white on red for the stop signs. That's a signal stop, pay attention, urgency, immediacy. So that's that. Yellow, it's caution. Who's a content creator? Actually, there's several, but I can find you a content creator who, or rather content creators that take advantage of yellow and black. It's our friends Colin and Samir. Their branding, it's yellow and black. That is the slow down caution sign on the road. It's a yellow field with black icons or black text. That's the caution signs. So Diary CEO uses black and red. Colin and Samir use yellow and black. Ryan Trahan often uses green. Eric uses a lot of red, hell a lot of red, associated with Eric. Tyler Oliveira uses blue. So the thing is, the 4 colors and the combinations that are used on the highway for us to immediately be able to see at night and moving fast and at a glance, we know the color combinations. So it's blue background, white text, because that's your rest stops, highway signs, and your street signs. Green field, white text. Okay, and then your caution signs. Your caution signs are yellow with black text or black icons. And then your stop signs, red background, white text, red background, white fonts. Boom. So the thing is, when you're going through that in America anyway, and they've done the research and everything like that, that's high contrast and visual acuity. By the way, they also did that for accessibility. Why? Because even if you're colorblind, you can differentiate the contrast between those colors. Even if you're colorblind, you can contrast and tell the difference between those colors when they're present, and you can still read that. So you're moving fast, and advice. You're moving fast and it's dark at night. So that means that has the highest probability of getting your attention. That's the highest probability of getting your attention. That's biology. That's visual acuity. That's how your eyes work. And that's about the contrast and tonal range. And so when you're scrolling through your phone, that's why that would work. So I'm teaching you some graphic design stuff here because that was my background. I was a graphic designer, and this is teaching you advanced thumbnail theory. And this is like a lot of times you might think, okay, does the YouTuber know that? But their thumbnail artist might be a classically trained graphic designer, or might just be doing basic pattern recognition, or might have figured this out by typing it into search or watching videos like mine. Graphic design theory, color theory. They may have watched a video from Christo on color theory. So the thumbnail artists that YouTubers hire, they know this. And to a degree, YouTubers can watch these patterns in television, movies, and films, and then be subconsciously influenced by it. And then those techniques just start showing up in their channel. But again, if you're moving fast, scrolling, like we said, you guys confirmed it yourself. We got 1 to 2 seconds. You confirmed it yourself. And all of you basically accurately remembered what colors those road signs are. And you all remember that, wow, when I'm flying down the road, I can immediately see that, even in the dead of night. So of course you're going to be able to see it, and you can see it in broad daylight. Guess what? Those colors have the best chance of standing out in dark mode and light mode in YouTube the same way in real life. They stand out in the middle of the day, and they stand out in the middle of the night. Boom. Is your mind blown right now with regard with how we handled color theory? Is your mind blown when it comes to how this works on YouTube? Nice, right? Isn't it interesting how we can use biology and psychology to win at YouTube when it comes to these things? So let's see here. What are you guys saying in the chats? So somebody's asking about YouTube channels that cover TV shows. The best example of a TV show channel is Charlie from Emergency Awesome. Charlie from Emergency Awesome is probably your best bet when it comes to, okay, what do you do about thumbnails for a TV show? But even with that, it's actually not complicated. I'm actually surprised that I have to spell this out for people because this one's actually pretty easy and pretty obvious at a glance. And it's kind of shocking to me to have to break this one down, but I will. The thing with TV and movie show thumbnails is, it's pretty useless most of the time to put yourself in the thumbnail if you're covering a TV show. The people are most interested in the TV show and the thing itself. So often having in some way the show logo or something to do with that can be a thing. The thing is, you don't have to necessarily take the same exact approach that Charlie is. It's just the most simple one. Charlie's approach is the most simple one, and he is one of the bigger channels that does this, but you don't necessarily have to use his approach. A more novel approach could be Star Wars Theory. I enjoy his content a lot. And one of the things that Star Wars Theory does really well is I do feel like he gets a little bit creative with some of his thumbnails, and he makes excellent choices, I think, in terms of some of the characters, and then also some of the creativity with adding some Photoshop effects to some of the thumbnails, contrasting multiple characters, taking interesting scenes, things like that. So I do feel that, and again, sometimes he does new stuff, and that's a different thumbnail style, but some of the compare and contrast stuff, that can be interesting. But one of the most important things if you're going to do TV and movie show reviews is to highlight and use characters that are immediately recognizable to the audience at a glance. And remember, the most interesting thing to the viewer is the TV show, not you. So just kind of keep that in mind. And again, I think Star Wars Theory is a good example because, again, these aren't the most crazy, wild, out-of-pocket, hard-to-make thumbnails in the world, and they still get views. If I scroll through his most popular videos of all time, these thumbnails are not impossible for anyone to make. These thumbnails are relatively straightforward and simple as long as you can find the images for them. And again, millions of views. And not all of them are super old. Some of them are more recent from like 2 years ago or whatever. But these are not the most complicated thumbnails in the world for anybody to make. And yet, thanks, bro. And yet, they are incredibly effective. So, this is just another example for you. And again, a lot of it really comes down to when you're not making original content and you can't do the poses for the video yourself, the main thing would be to use something that's recognizable to the audience and that they're already a fan of. And remember to kind of take yourself out of the equation. It's not really about you if you're covering a franchise. If you're covering a franchise, it's not about you. Another really good channel, if you're one of these people who does entertainment content about franchises, is Stupendous Wave. Stupendous Wave. Here we go. So Stupendous Wave is another Star Wars creator, and again, I'm aware of this because again, I'm a big Star Wars nerd. I'm a big Star Wars fan. So again, good layout, good design for thumbnails. I like the contrast. Again, it's about being effective. A lot of these are not necessarily out of pocket or wild. If I look at the most popular ones, again, these aren't necessarily crazy thumbnails to make. These aren't hard to duplicate thumbnails, if we're being honest, yet they're super effective. One could argue that also title, of course, plays a role in the combination. But again, thumbnails get our attention. Thumbnails are to get our attention. It's just like your clothing. Clothing is to get attention, right? You wear something, you get attention. People notice you. They notice the fabric, the cut, the fit, all those things, what have you, the colors. All right, that's the same thing with your thumbnail. Then the title is just like your opening sentence, and that's where you can screw it up. So no matter how attractive you are, you can open your mouth and screw it all up. Your thumbnail's the same. You have a great thumbnail, get attention, and lose everything in the title. They have to work together. They have to work in combination. So that is just something important. And so, yeah, here's someone, that nerd Dylan is colorblind and says, yes, Roberto can confirm as colorblind person. That's why mixing red and green doesn't work so well. Exactly. So using the color combinations that we talked about and the visual acuity and contrast, it all is about what we can immediately notice. And again, if it's the color contrast is so important that in using those combinations, that even if a colorblind person can see it, then you know it has the right visual contrast. Orlando Scott says, can you redo your thumbnails after you've launched? Absolutely. And I've done that. Other people have done that. We A/B test thumbnails, because sometimes, you know, you're putting a thumbnail together in the middle of the night, you're launching a video, and then you go, oh, wait, you know what? I didn't do this, or I could do better. You can replace the thumbnail. It could turn a video around. Absolutely. Coastal Diva says, those just aren't very coastal colors for me to use. I do use them, but it goes against what I really like. And yeah, sometimes it works great, and sometimes it didn't make a difference. What I believe is a lot of creators do this whole do what you like, stick to your guns thing and everything like that. I think it's often terrible advice for creators. As someone who like leans much more to the business side of being a content creator, I'm going to tell you do what works. I'm going to tell you do what you works, because the thing is, I think that even if, I'm not telling you to do something you hate or something you think is unethical, but I do think if you do something effective and it works and you get the views, subscribers, or money that you want, the fact that, oh, I didn't get to use my favorite color, or, oh, I had to take my face out of the thumbnail to get it. If you get the outcome you want, you're not going to be that sad about it. If you're like, oh, I didn't get to make the thumbnail the way I wanted, but you got 1 million views, you're not going to be sad. You're going to say, screw it. I'll give the people what they want. You will not be sad. You will not be sad. Oh, I didn't get to use my favorite color, but I got 100,000 more views. You will not be sad. Trust me. Success cures a lot of things. And success is also the cure for all of your hangups artistically. When you start realizing things like, wow, I stopped doing all that over-the-top editing and my video did just as well, or it did 5 times better. You go, okay, I'm going to kill my darlings. I'm not going to do the thing that I'm like artistically in love with. If the thing is I'm getting 5 times, 10 times better results, and sometimes you have to learn to live with what's effective. But the thing is, when you start getting results you want, you're not sad about how you got it a lot of the time. Astatine says, your thumbnails are very masculine. I mean, well, I'm a guy, so yeah, my thumbnails are going to be masculine. Can you show some more feminine thumbnail styles? I guess. I mean, I just have to pull up a female content creator to do that. So I guess I would use Lavender. I would just use Lavender as an example if you are looking for the female thumbnail aesthetic. Of course, my examples are going to be masculine because I'm masculine. So here's the female thumbnail aesthetic of one of my favorite creators, which is Lavender. And what I would say is she uses light and airy colors a lot. You still...
It's hard to reach your goals when your teams are pulled in too many directions. With Asana, tasks and company-wide goals are in one place, so everyone's aligned. Try Asana, the smarter way to work.
Still can understand her stuff at a glance, which is really important. She's a very established creator, very popular, 2.29 million subscribers. She makes great aesthetic content. I say the thing that works for her is our thumbnails have a very realistic vibe, very airy vibe. They do have that female aesthetic. And I would say that this is something, if you were looking for something you can make in Canva, her thumbnails are very easy to make in Canva. However, you may have noticed something. They rely on good photography, good lighting. What is Lavender doing? She's doing a really good photography aesthetic. She has depth of field and a bokeh background. You're going to want to use a real camera to accomplish this. You need to use a real camera. And she is still using some very smart overall techniques when it comes to graphic design. Her text is very readable. even on a mobile device for the most part. There are times when it wouldn't be as readable. For example, in this Life is an Art, that doesn't stand out. There's not enough drop shadow. I would have put a drop shadow behind that, or at least an outline behind that, even though aesthetically it may not fit the vibe she was going for. It'd be easier to read, especially if you're someone who's colorblind, or if for accessibility reasons, or if you have glasses, it would be easier to read. So that would be one criticism. It works for her though. It works for her. I just like to sometimes try to prioritize accessibility in some of those things and lean into that. But she does have an aesthetic that she's chosen. It is on brand for her. But I will say that a lot of these things, remember, the difference in views is not purely on the thumbnail. It is topic, title, thumbnail, and timing all working together to accomplish a view count. But the thumbnail immediately is the thing our eyes go to. Then we try to get validation and confirmation from things like the title, which informs the topic and the relevancy of the time. So that becomes important. But if you were looking for an example of the female aesthetic, here it is. And this is one of what I would say is one of the best creators in the space, at least in my opinion. I think she does a lot right. But I would tell you that, remember, this relies heavily on good photography. And good photography is not a function of just good cameras. It's a function of good lighting. And that's a function also of things like depth, contrast, lighting, and also composition. Composition, choosing where you're going to be in frame, choosing how tight something is, zoomed out shot, wide shot, or head and shoulders, or waist and shoulders, medium shot, or head and shoulders, what you'd call a close-up or tight shot. So it's like, are you tight, medium, or wide? Tight is basically what I have right here in frame. This is tight. This is what you call a close-up, okay? Further back, this is getting close to what is a medium. And if I was all the way back, that'd be a wide, okay? So just kind of consider that. The best YouTube thumbnails tend to be, in most cases, not all, but in most cases, tend to be medium shots. Medium shots. So what are medium shots? Usually from top of head to roughly about waist, or where the elbows hit. Where the elbows hit. So you can look at mine and Ali Abdal's videos for that to a degree. Medium shots could also be Mr. Beast when it's not full shot body shot, where it's like at the waist for him. So that can be very important. And yes, Tierman Guitars is right. There's a lot you can do just with your camera lenses. Absolutely. My protein shake. It's all over my face here. Excuse me a second. Oh, but that's so good. I can feel the protein surging through my body. So yeah, Premier Gal, Kelsey from Premier Gal is another great reference in terms of female aesthetic. And she uses a strong photography aesthetic that has high contrast, sharpness, depth of field, bright colors. So I really enjoy her vibe. Yeah, another popular content creator. And I've had the pleasure of meeting her. She's very cool in real life. But again, this also is an exercise in brand consistency in terms of her colors and themes. So very cool. And you can see how she uses her elements. I love this here because this is a great example. By using the Premiere Pro icon in this, that's a level of social proof to Adobe Premiere users. Same thing with using the Adobe Premiere interface and version 24 for 2024. Those things, the Premiere Pro and After Effects icons, those are social proof to Adobe users. They're also eye-catching elements at the same time as well. And I love what she does in a lot of these because these are interesting at a glance. And then because of the contrast, the color, the sharpness, they are visually attractive immediately as well. So I do love these. And I love the storytelling that happens in her thumbnails. So again, leveraging social proof, accomplishing visually attractive and then interesting at a glance in terms of your storytelling approach, all can be seen here. And I really do enjoy her thumbnails. I also enjoy some of the playfulness of her thumbnails. So again, consider that vibe and tone as well in the vibes framework. Consider tonality. Consider not just visual tonality, but also communication style. Are your thumbnails serious? Are they stoic? Are they playful? Is it commentary? Is it angry? Is it, always excited, always positive? What tone are you trying to convey in your thumbnails? Are you doing that overall for the channel, or is it topic to topic, video to video? So again, these are things to consider, and these are great examples of thumbnails. So when it comes to the apps and programs for thumbnails, the best one for the most versatile options possible is Photoshop, which is used by all the big creators. However, if you are focusing on good photography and you need to just be simple, you can get away with just using Canva like Lavender does. But if you want to be able to make the kind of things that myself and Kelsey and some of the other creators, the biggest creators, Mr. Beast, Eric, and them make, it is going to be Photoshop. Now, again, if you feel like you're missing the mark on it, it just means that maybe what you need to do is go through and learn more of the tools and what they're capable of. But it also can mean you need to learn things like photography. Your thumbnails, a lot of times, are only as good as your assets. So what are you doing in terms of photography? Remember, with my thumbnails, what I do, I focused a lot on the poses. Same thing with Chelsea. We have endless files of ourselves with different poses and photo shoots so that we can make our thumbnails possible and so we can interact with elements in our thumbnails. Same thing for the biggest creators. The biggest creators you see have these poses that are interactive with the contrived thing that they did in Photoshop. So that becomes really important. It becomes incredibly important. So if you feel like your thumbnails might be quote unquote missing the mark, consider that some of it is, well, what assets do you have to work with? Do you have good photos to work with? Yes or no? Do you understand what makes a good photo? Do you have the resources to make a good photo? Do you have the understanding of layout, composition, lighting, contrast, posing, etiquette? Do you have those things to make a good photo? Do you have someone to help you take a photo if you need to be the person in the photo doing the thing? Do you have that? Do you have access to stock photography that'd be really good, like Adobe stock? Or are you going to use generative AI for that? And if so, is it going to be good or is it going to be crappy? Or are you going to combine elements where some elements are real and then some AI, those real elements are then fixed or exaggerated by the AI tool? So on and so forth. What if, like, do you understand typography and what good fonts are, like we talked about, and why we use sans serif fonts? Remember, all those fonts driving down the hallway, they're all sans serif fonts. They don't have the ligatures at the end. They don't have those curvatures at the end. They're not cursive, pretty handwriting, which I know a lot of you like to do. No, they're just hard, bold, sharp text, straight lines, easy to read, sans serif. So sans serif fonts. So again, a lot of YouTube thumbnails come down to, do you have a good photo? You could do a Peter McKinnon or a Casey Neistat and just have a really interesting photo. But are you good at photography? Are you good at storytelling? Are you good at posing? Are you in an interesting place? Do you have interesting things to photograph? Yes or no? Because you can get clicks and views purely off photography. If you're not good at graphic design, get good at photography and good at storytelling and good at what would get clicks on and likes on Instagram. What would be a good magazine cover? What would be a good magazine spread? What would be a good billboard that's just a visual only billboard? What would work for that? What would be a good movie poster? That plays a difference. With purely just photography and staging, you could literally make your entire thumbnail purely with photography if you're willing to do the background design and setup, or set up the stage the photo and do a high key photo shoot. You could do that. Some YouTubers do. But if that's not practical for what the story of the video is, then it won't work. A lot of you just need to put more thought into the idea, and you should be crafting the thumbnail before the video even, but that's a lot for some of you. And really what it comes down to in a lot of cases is it's a skill issue. As much as that might hurt to say or to hear, it's often a skill issue when it comes to thumbnails. Because like I said, be a master photographer or be a master layout artist or be at least a little good at all the things, because it would matter. And you can see the different types of thumbnails that people can do that would matter. Now, if you look into the history of my channel, even with the history of my channel, there are videos that are tech videos that were purely photography based even. Let me see if I can pull some of that up. There were some thumbnails back in the day that I did, purely photography, no design required whatsoever, all photography. And they got like 100,000 views, even when I was smaller. It really depends on what people care about. Timing plays a role in all of this too, obviously. I mean, I would tell you that the timing and topic for a video kind of decide more of its destiny than most things. I'll give you a primary example of this. So back in the old days, when I did a lot more tech content, I got early access to the Microsoft Surface Studio because I was at Adobe Max as a speaker. The fact that I could show that this product exists and that I had my hands on it and access to it in the real world, and other people have the product in the background, and that when you go into the video, it's not clickbait, that made a difference. And because it was me and Justine who had the earliest access, because she got it shipped before everybody, and I happened to be at the event, and we got it out before other people besides news outlets. I had access to the product early, so being physically hands-on, that gave me a timing advantage. But I also was able to make a non-clickbait thumbnail because, oh, he has the product. Here's another video that's purely photography based. It's my HP Pavilion video. Now, here's the thing. I have another laptop advice video to see. Like, by the way, everyone thinks I grew my channel off YouTube advice. I grew it off tech and tutorials before any of you came to me for YouTube advice and was getting hundreds of thousands of views on some of these videos. So a simple thing here with the photography, and this is when I was a small creator, and this was when I was broke as hell. This is a $600 laptop in this advice video. So advice for buying video editing laptops. So boom, I have a laptop in my hand and laptop buying advice. Couldn't be simpler. 349,000 views, 300K views. HP Pavilion, 2-in-1 laptop, top 5 features. What I do, purely photography thumbnail, but how did I stage it? I put Darth Vader as the desktop background, and I showed that it's a 2-in-1 flip laptop. So there's a thing that I'm showing some social proof of. I have the product, it's in my office, and I'm using it with its 2-in-1 flip over capability thing, and boom. There's also something you immediately recognize. Darth Vader's iconic. So I used that all to my advantage, and that worked in terms of views. And so you can see other different thumbnail styles that you do things here, but I'm looking for some more of these photography driven ones. Here's something where I literally just used a photo of the inside of my PC build, 162,000 views, using just purely the photography of inside of.
The best tech solutions for small businesses with the power to unlock new AI experiences through Intel Core Ultra processors. Lenovo.com. Where to look for the tech you're looking for.
Of my PC build, talking about the minimum requirements for video editing laptops and desktops. Purely photography driven. Let me see if I find another close to. Here's a social proof video. Simple video, year ago, green screen tutorial, as fast as possible. which is also the social proof of that is also the fact it's a minute and 29-second video. So that the timestamp can be social proof too, by the way. And so, boom, step by step, and Premiere Pro logo in here. But this is also, again, an execution of good staging, because I photoshopped the ability to physically hold an object, and I replaced that object with the Premiere Pro logo. Not an easy Photoshop trick to do, by the way, and I can kind of show you that. Same thing here. This one's me holding the YouTube logo. That's a Photoshop trick that I used. I'm holding a physical object. I replaced it and Photoshopped around my hands for it. And then I'm saying most profitable niches in YouTube. And then what am I, excuse me. And what am I doing? I'm also using the visual contrast of red and blue, opposite ends of the spectrum. And then what else am I doing? I'm effectively using green dollar signs against both of them, and it works. And then what is my thing? I'm wearing a non-color, black, and I'm in the center frame. That is effective graphic design. I don't even need text to sell that idea. I don't even need text to sell the idea. 100,000 views. Okay. This one, I'm communicating the concept of time in terms of the 4,000 watch hours video. I'm communicating the concept of time, and I'm making explicit 4,000 hours watch time. I use a clock. I use the YouTube logo iconography. I use a thoughtful expression in pose, and I'm using a giant pencil as a prop. I'm doing a lot of things here, but a big focus on it is using every aspect of, I'm using typography, I'm using design elements, I'm using color contrast with red, white, and blue. I'm using a neutral color for me, gray, and I'm also interacting to a degree with the elements in there, foreground, background, middle ground. So there's depth, there's contrast, readability at a glance. You understand everything that's going on in this video. And so it makes it very abundantly clear what is going on and what it's about. Boom. So that's just another example. And again, this is where photography can be very helpful. In a different video with regard to social proof, I talked about YouTube profitable niches. I used Graham Stephan, I used Mr. Beast, I used dollar signs, I used green, I used the YouTube logo, and I just have simple text, 2 words, YouTube money, 99,000 views. So, by the way, you may have noticed, I'm no slouch at videos. It just, they're hit or miss. It's all topic-based for me, but it's hit or miss. You may have noticed I am fully capable of getting 100,000 view videos. It's just about what you want to watch. It has nothing to do with what I want to make. It has everything to do with what you want to watch. And it doesn't matter how good or how simple my thumbnail is, the topic will decide whether you want to watch. So the topic and title will decide if you want to watch. The thumbnail is solely so I have a shot. It's to get my attention. It's to get your attention. It's to get you to stop the scroll and to read the title and then see if that topic is relevant to you right now. So topic and timing. The title is communicating the topic and the timing. The thumbnail is reinforcing that, but it's also getting your attention. All of those things have to work at the same time. And I can accomplish this in a lot of different ways. Look at this one. This one is the Adobe InDesign tutorial. This is just typography, nothing more. And it just says what it is. Almost 500,000 views. Was it in a simpler time of YouTube? Yes. Do thumbnails like that still work today? I see them all the time. Some simple thumbnails still work today. So you can use, look what, this one's purely photography. All this one is literally my facial expression. And this is in 2007. It's not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. 200,000 views. Should you start a YouTube channel in 2007? Yes and no. 200,000 views. Purely photography, purely facial expression. Purely facial expression. The title did most of the work, but the simplicity of the thumbnail speaks to an earnestness and an authenticity. What's that like today? Why is that? Why do I say that that's still a relevant tactic today? Sam Sulek. Sam Sulek is doing this type of thumbnail today. Now, again, he doesn't look like me. He's, a genetic freak of nature with massive muscles and looks like, the Hulk in real life. So he's walking clickbait, but Again, it's the same principle and tactic being used today effectively on YouTube. Look at this one. There's no Photoshop. This is just a photographic thumbnail. Stop trading time for money. $1,000 a week passive income. What I do, I literally have a piece of paper I ripped out of my sketchbook, handwritten. It speaks to this concept of an authentic, no BS thumbnail. This video almost has no editing in it either. It's just me talking to people, and that's only from 5 years ago. So again, in the grand scheme of things, I'm telling you, there's a variety. There's no one thumbnail style that works. And you can see that proof in the pudding, not only on my channel, but on all the channels we've covered. And that sometimes even a good thumbnail isn't enough if the video topic. We've seen great thumbnails. Here's another one that's just photography. 100,000 views. Complete guide to buying new laptops in 2016. Laptop buyer's guide. Social proof. At the time, this is a new laptop that was out. It was the Dell XPS 13, was a popular laptop at the time in 2016. Social proof is having that laptop. So again, these are things you can use and take advantage of. And there's a reason that I'm teaching you the framework that we use over in Awesome Creator Academy, the Vibes framework, because when you think about it, there are different ways to take advantage of it. There are different techniques to take advantage of it. There's different strategies, and most YouTubers have figured out the strategy that works best for them based on a combination of their skills, what's normal in their niche, what stands out in their niche, but a lot of it's their skills. Photographers use photography skills, or they hire people who have it. Designers, a lot of YouTubers, they don't have any of these skills. You know what they're all doing? They're hiring thumbnail artists who do have the skills. And what they at least will do is they'll take a bunch of poses and do things for that person to work with. So that makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Astatine 85 videos. No, they more so analyze what a viewer responds to, and you as a viewer will see more of that based on it. However, they can scan text and understand text and language in a thumbnail using Google Cloud Vision AI. My friend Daryl Eves talks about that. We talked about it when we talked about localization in different languages, and why I'm going to localize my thumbnails for the Roberto and Espanol channel to use Spanish text, because it can recognize the difference between English and Spanish text based on whether you're an English or Spanish speaker, and then recommend videos to you and thumbnails to you based on whether you're speaking Spanish, Hindi, whatever. So you want to use the localized text. It's also the reason that I started at a certain point. Remember, I've been a text-heavy thumbnail guy. You think it's an accident that I moved to thumbnails that you can understand without reading text? Because it's more universal. And as we move to channels, they're going to be multilingual. Universal thumbnails, when you start using multi-language AI dubbing and having your channel in multiple languages, thumbnails that can be understood at a glance in every language is going to become important. So that's going to be incredibly powerful. So that's going to be incredibly powerful for the future, because the future is multilingual channels. In the chat for those of you who are live, I want you to answer a simple question for me. What skill do you think you need to improve the most? Graphic design or photography? Of the two base skills for making YouTube thumbnails, is it photography and posing, or is it graphic design? Which one do you need to improve the most? Is it your photography or is it your graphic design? Let me know in the chat. In fact, let me see if there's a way to run a poll right now live. Let me see if there's an easy way for me to run a poll on the current video while we're at it. Because I think that'd be interesting. If we can pull that off, that'd be great. That'd be great. Let's see. if I can run a poll, that'd be dope. Let's see. I know there's a way to do it. It's just a pain sometimes to set up the, what do you call it? The live, the backstage for when you're doing your live streams. Because I like to manage everything from StreamYard, but on the YouTube end of managing everything else for your live streams, they have an annoying way for you to get to that. I wish they'd make it more convenient. I might have to send them my thoughts on the UI UX design for that, because I do think it could be better. And, YouTube's great. Don't get me wrong, but there are aspects and things that can be done better that would be massively helpful. So let's see. Start a poll. Great. So let me see. Photography, graphic design. We can run a poll. Yeah. Which skill? Which skill do you need to work on? And we'll go to start poll. There you go. So now you guys can vote on the poll. So I posted that. Wow, right now graphic design is in the lead. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that more of you, again, there's nothing wrong. There's not a right or wrong answer to this, by the way. There's not a right or wrong answer to this. But I am shocked that more of you feel that you need to work on graphic design than you do photography. Because looking at the most common type of popular YouTube videos and their thumbnails, they're mostly, at this point, photography driven. If you look at Mr. Beast, Eric, Ryan Trahan, you look at any of the biggest YouTubers, their thumbnails are photography based. And whenever I ask all of you, it feels like everyone wants to try to duplicate their thumbnails more than anyone else. But it's fine to not want to do that. It's actually really great if you don't want to necessarily duplicate the big three. But in general now, most YouTubers' thumbnails are photography based, unless they're doing like entertainment content, unless they're doing gaming, this and that. And even then, there's some elements of that in there sometimes. So there is that. So it just depends on what you're making as to which skill is more favorable to you, to be honest. So I could totally get that, and it would make sense. It just depends on what you're making and who your audience is as to what skill you need the most of. I would argue nowadays, though, in general, that it's obviously the best thing is to have both skills and to utilize both skills. But I would argue that nowadays, with the trend toward doing more IRL content, that instead of bedroom YouTuber content, I would say that the trend toward IRL content makes learning photography more important than it's ever been.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more life policy. It's about the promise and the responsibility that comes with being a new parent, being there day and night, and building the plan for tomorrow, today. For the ones you'll always look out for, trust Amica Life Insurance. Amica, empathy is our best policy.
For a cooking channel, Divine Chef, it would absolutely be photography. If you're doing anything food related, like at all, then you definitely want to be a master of photography. So if we look at my friend Kayla's channel, her thumbnails are gorgeous. Now, it doesn't necessarily always translate to views, but yeah, photography for a food channel could definitely be much, much more important. So it really just depends. Let's look at our most popular stuff, because that might be more reflective of what you guys are aiming for. So this DIY dog cupcakes is a perfect example of why photography for a food channel actually matters. So if you're doing a cooking or food related or baking channel, yeah, photography. All about that photography. You also can get an idea here of what looks good. And you kind of want to like think with food channels, you want to think Instagram aesthetic, to be honest. So really aesthetic stuff ends up becoming really important. And again, I like to showcase what channels under 100,000 are doing good, because I do think that only covering the largest creators and what people with millions of subs and million views, I don't know that it's that helpful compared to being able to see people that are much more comparable to what seems attainable to you, or even people you might relate to more. Yeah. If you're doing, Cadu Ribeiro says, well, Roberto, I think that makes sense for when they're doing their image and tangible things on videos. Agreed. For app tutorial, for example, graphic design composition makes more sense, I guess. No, you're absolutely right. If you're doing IRL things, or you're doing product-based things, or you're doing food-based things, photography. If you're doing television shows, movie reviews, gaming, app tutorials, it absolutely leans much more toward graphic design being an important skill set. What could be interesting is to get a sense of which types of content more of you are doing. So in terms of the poll, let's see what the results are so far. Let's see what the poll results are. Wish there was an easy way on StreamYard to show the poll results. But currently, if I end the poll now, it looks like for the poll that 31% of you, with 50 votes in, 31% of you said photography, 68% of you said graphic design. So I'd imagine that means that 7 out of 10 of you are doing things that are not IRL content, and you're doing some form of gaming, TV, television show reviews, or you're doing app reviews and tutorials and things like that. So you're not doing IRL content. So it's interesting that in this audience, maybe 7 out of 10 of you are not doing IRL content at all. Therefore, you're leaning more design than photography. That's interesting. Always good to know these things. Always good to know these things. What about a car painting channel? It'd be photography. If you're doing car painting, it'd obviously be photography. Sports channels? It depends. If you're doing sports, or you're doing trick shotting, you're doing dude perfect stuff, you're doing athletics, you're doing boxing, it's clearly going to be photography. If it is you're covering UFC, you're covering the NFL, you're covering the NBA, then you need to understand graphic design, but you also need to understand what sourcing good photography for that thing looks like. So that would matter. Clearly. Graphic design, I think it's reductive to say that graphic design is learning how to find cool pics and put text on images. Graphic design is more than that. It's layout, it's composition, it's knowing what fonts are good fonts, it's knowing what color combinations do work together and knowing color theory. It is knowing typography, learning tracking, learning kerning, which is basically letter spacing and line spacing. So knowing letter spacing and line spacing, knowing what fonts to pick, knowing what font combinations to pick, knowing why we don't use more than 2 fonts usually, knowing which fonts are effective for your goal, knowing what colors are effective for your goal, knowing what readability looks like, what we talked about with color contrast, knowing tonal range, knowing depth of field. Graphic design is more than knowing how to put together a combination of good images and good text. That's the most reductive and simplistic version of trying. I know you're not trying to be insulting. I'm just saying that graphic design is much more complicated than anyone gives it credit for. It's why no one understood it when I did it back in the 2000s. No one understood how important it is, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And that's why Steve Jobs was obsessed with it, with Apple's branding and packaging. Steve Jobs was obsessed when it comes to that. Let me see. What's a sports channel? Oh, you know what? Okay. Actually, you said, can you give an example of sourcing photography for sports content? Okay. Bunnymon. Because someone asked, AJ asked, can you give an example when you say sourcing photography for covering sports? Certainly. So we have a content creator, Bunnymon. She covers the WWE. She covers wrestling. So when it comes to her content, and look at this. So sourcing the right photography, she does reaction content to the WWE. She's a big WWE fan. So, you know, shout out to her. Sourcing the right photos and images for her reaction content is very important. So let's see what the most popular ones were, for example. Looks like she used to react to a lot of other things before she focused on WWE, but here's an example for the WWE for wrestling. So she was covering best entrances. So that was a thing. Even in general for reaction content. I'm going to see if we can get to more of her higher view wrestling reactions. WWE Stiff Fets Moments reaction. Okay, sourcing that photo, if you look to the far right there, sourcing that photo and realizing that's the right one to put a reaction face on, that was extremely practical, and that one was important. Let's see. Girl watches women wrestlers finishers 2022. All right, like picking that one, that was smart. So, I mean, that's just an example in terms of even with someone doing reaction channels to like doing a reaction channel that's focused around the WWE and picking the right images and the difference that it makes. The MC Punk video, like picking the right photo, 67,000 views, picking the right photos and things to use and graphic design for Roman Reigns. Okay, look at the amount of views. WWE speeches that make you cry. This was sourcing the right photography, but also having the right pose to interact with it. Girl watches WWE top emotional moments. Picking this one with the kid. This looks like a Make-A-Wish kid. So like, again, just picking and the right photos. Sourcing the right photos for your stuff, it actually matters. There's someone who does UFC like, and again, it's going to matter in terms of being able to source the right images for the most views. Actually, even with let's see. Actually, I have another one. It's not even a dedicated reaction channel. Look at Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike reacts to painful WWE injuries. Look at that. That's a brilliant photo to pick in terms of, okay, that's the one that will get people's attention. So again, when it comes to sports, it comes down to more than just being able to, oh, text on photo, good. It's about also sourcing the right thing. Here's one from a channel called Mighty. He picked, a UFC submission hold, and he picked it from a particular moment in a fight, and then his reaction face to it is specific to the type of injury that's going to happen in this fight. So if you need literal examples when it comes to the sports side of sourcing photos, I mean, there you go. So I hope that answers your question, AJ. Hope that answers your question. Jacqueline, the reason, Jacqueline Roberts says, I was going to ask about fonts because I noticed that most of the fonts are very simple. The reason most of the fonts are very simple is because it does make them easier to read. So let's see here. Let me see if I can kind of illustrate this point in Photoshop itself. So give me a moment here. Because I'm going to illustrate for you why typography is simplistic and why we don't make it fancy. And I'm going to make it kind of easy to understand by just showing it on screen. So bear with me. Because if I just show it on screen, it'll make more sense. Okay. So let me just like erase this, or like let me start a new text layer. Let me just start a new text layer. All right, so I'm going to make just a blank black screen, and I'm going to illustrate a point. So this is doing sample lorem ipsum text, okay? All right, so let's go to fonts. You may notice that as I scroll through different fonts, this becomes more and less readable. Now, what I'm going to do, just to do something with letter spacing, just so that in general, this is easier for everyone to read in general and understand what I'm talking about. I'm just going to arbitrarily and randomly scroll through different fonts. This is Gil Sans. Okay, this is Grantha. This is Helvetica. This is Helvetica LT Pro. Standard. This is Helvetica New. Helvetica New LT Black. This is Herculum. This is Hofler. This is Apicia. This is Impact. This is Inter. You may have noticed that this is Iwonen Old Style. You may have noticed that as we scroll through different fonts, that our capacity to read at a glance and the way that they look to us and the amount of visual impact they have just on a black screen, you can see that it makes a difference. This is Komu. This one's Komu. This is more of a techie font. So watch this. So if I say a phrase like the future, okay, watch what happens here. You want to know about why we use certain fonts versus others. What am I doing here? I'm using Option and I'm using the right bracket to create more letter spacing for this. What am I doing now? I'm holding Shift, Command, and the greater than sign, and then Option to make this 10, like, is it 10 points or is it 5 points? 5 points bigger every time I click on it. So, okay, so boom.
Shopify helps you sell at every stage of your business. Like that, let's put it on and see what happens stage.
And the site is live.
That we opened a store and need a fast checkout stage.
Thanks. You're all set.
That count it up and ship it around the globe stage.
This one's going to Thailand.
And that, wait, did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Whatever your stage, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/YouTube audio.
So now I have the words, the future, okay? And that stands out, and that also feels futuristic because I chose this particular font called Kumu. But what if I use Inter? It's not quite the same, is it? Even if I extend this so it's not running together as much, it's just not quite the same, and it doesn't hit quite the same, okay? Let me make it easier for you to compare fonts. I'm going to use Option and the arrow key and Shift and drag and drag. I'm going to show you something. So if I go ahead and then I select for this Komu, you can see the big difference between Komu and Inter. And then let me take the italic off. So, okay, you see the difference. You can see the difference if I pick Futura. We'll use Futura Bold here. Notice the difference in what's communicated with these 3 different choices in fonts. 3 different choices in fonts, 3 different impressions, and obviously the best choice is this one, the center one that is in Kumu, the font Kumu. So the thing is, all of these are now kind of communicating a different impression. All right, well, what if it was all caps? Okay. That's stronger in all caps, but it's still not as good. And we can take the italic styling off. Still not as good at conveying the idea of the future as the other font, the second font, Kumu. Let's go ahead and make this all caps. And we'll reduce it down. Okay. What if we make them all feel like they're relatively the same length? Would that make any difference in the impression? Probably not really. So even if we make them all feel relatively similar in size, the font in the center, the second one, Kumu, just feels more futuristic. It just feels better. So it's just a better fit for the idea that we're conveying. This is how important and how powerful just picking the right font for your video can be in terms of conveying the idea. Also knowing that you can use stylistic choices and elements to adapt and adjust your fonts. So knowing that, hey, I can apply something to this, like a slant or even an italic styling to make this much more interesting. And now this feels like better when it's like, oh, the future. Then watch this. We can do something called a color break. And we can go ahead and we can do something like this and pick a gold. And then this color break feels strong. That feels strong. So that feels a bit different. So color breaks can leave an impression with us in terms of how something works. Same thing with styling. Something as simple as a slant to the font, styling. So again, I can also apply a transformation to this one, an angular transformation on slant to this one. And let's say I'm going to add a 20%. Nope, that's rotation. So I did not mean to do the rotation. I wanted to do something else. Give me a second here. Where is that menu option? All right. So even with that, it still doesn't feel as strong as the second one. So again, it's still not as powerful as just choosing the right font. We have a Canva for Creators course over at awesomecreatoracademy.com. Eventually, I will do some Canva tutorials, but you can apply most of the same principles that I'm teaching here to Canva, aside from the things specific on the photo editing and the painting and paintbrush side. Melly Cinco says, Roberto, I went to a UI UX school, and let me tell you something, Roberto, if I could go back in time, I would have just paid you $5K for a couple of sessions. Biggest regret. Thanks so much. No problem. Yeah, I try to teach things the way that I understand them, and sometimes it's better than the way I originally learned them, to be honest with you. The Stupendous Chumley says, Roberto, question. What do you think about people using more cartoon caption like bubble cloud quotes on thumbnails using 2 to 4 words? Just a grand notion I had. Chumley, I don't believe in grand notions. I believe in doing what works. So if I see something works, I try to focus on doing what works effectively. I try to disabuse myself of grand notions because the audience and the algorithm humble us all, my friend. So I try to avoid giving myself grandiose ideas. I've tried that before, and then when it doesn't work, I revert to simplicity. But it's worth trying it. You can A/B test things. You can see if it works, because it could work. Maybe it does. But often, if I don't see evidence for something, I go, okay, let me follow what the evidence says. Dreamer Gamer, $2 super chat. Hello, Roberto. Hello, Dreamer Gamer. Appreciate you. Motivation Theory Running says, I sourced a great photo for my last video that blew up on the first woman to finish the Barkley Marathon. Over 22K views. Nice. Congratulations on that. Yeah. But simple fonts work most effectively, and they make things easy to read. They make things very easy to read, and it's massively helpful in a lot of cases. Have you talked about generative fill AI tool? Not yet. I do want to get to that at some point, because I definitely could see a value to that. Let's see. So let me see here. Yeah, I definitely can see a value to things like generative AI fill and what they can do to extend thumbnails. I want to also teach you guys stuff about conceptual. Now, again, I know that to some degree, for some people, AI art is controversial. I totally get that. I understand where people are coming from.